Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
And this is the Nerdy.
The Wordy.
The Book Club. That's right, we're back for Way of Kings, Episode 5, covering chapters 42 through Interlude 9. It's a confusing way to tell people where we're at in the book, but it's how we do it here.
If you read it, it makes sense. If you haven't read it, you're like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Yeah, we are not great at branding. We're also not great at turning our camera on. Apparently, we recorded our Brave New World trailer reaction, which might go live. It's going to go live as soon as it's the checks are done. And upon finishing and pressing stop record on that, our camera froze again. So that's fun. Love that for us.
Yeah, at least it wasn't the middle of book club again.
Knock on wood.
So yeah, love that for us.
Here's the problem. We don't have all the super chats that were dropped before. So I'm going to try and find those while Clarus vamps. Clarus vamp.
Well, Arzu, thank you for 10 gifted memberships. Let's freaking go. I already just starting off strong. I know there were super chats. We got to try to find them here somewhere, but the chat didn't load properly.
Okay, here we go. I think they're all here. Okay.
Oh, thank God.
Where does they start? Here.
Yes.
Arzu, thank you for 10 for a super chat. Evil Camera super chat for new camera fund. How dare it make you late?
Yeah, we're gonna
figure it out. Giant Coleman, thank you for new camera fund super chat. Guillermo Barros drops a new camera fund super chat.
Hey,
Gordon Chen dropped into the camera fund. Bright Lord Camaram.
Okay.
Michael Kioski. That's very funny.
Well done.
Arzu says, let's all burn some glyphs for that camera to start working.
It worked. Whatever you did, it worked.
And Margot Sadai says, here's some Stormlight for you. Thank you, Margot.
Appreciate that.
Arzu, Michael Gordon, Guillermo, and Johnny. How's everybody doing this morning? Good morning.
Good morning. How did we all handle a week off of book club? Because it seems like most of you were like, oh no, we had a week off, so I finished this book and started the next one.
Yeah, which makes sense, honestly.
I get it. I do.
I would like to finish this book, too.
Yeah. It's tough. There are so many pages and we are so busy that we had to split it up into many parts, which is fine. I think especially in previous weeks, we've had plenty to fill our 3-hour, podcast. But it's still, this one, I think, in terms of splits, has been definitely the most, middle feeling section.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's fine. It's how we broke it up. It's not really on the book.
Guillermo Barros,
thank you
for that 10 members.
Hell
People
yeah.
can go listen to the audiobook reactions, where I have
3 new ones.
A mild a crisis of personality.
Personality?
I feel like in the audiobook reactions this week, I struggled with the book more so than I think I have throughout this book so far.
Yeah, but it wasn't personality. You got to the end and you were like, oh, I think I'm depressed about the state of the world, and this book is kind of depressing, and so it's just, feels like a lot. Yeah,
I want to talk about that. So we did the reading this week, and I was kind of watching them, or reading it, listening, and doing the audiobook reactions, and I kind of realized I wasn't liking any of it. And it's not, what was so weird about it is that I was listening going, this is good. This is well written, it's interesting, and I'm not enjoying it. I don't like this book. And it kind of took all 3 of the audiobook reactions and the conversations that we had after them for me to kind of realize, this book is kind of bringing me down right now. Mm-hmm. And it's not the book's fault. I think the book is really well written. And it's why, the last few weeks, my low has been, pacing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I actually think that the book is just kind of depressing me. And I'm hopeful that we're going to get to, the point in the book where that switches.
Yeah.
Because it's very long.
Yeah.
It's a very long book.
It's dark. It's it's not it's definitely not happy.
Yeah.
Especially in this section, right? Kaladin himself is depressed.
Yeah.
My dude, I get it. Linus, welcome back to the Nerd Table. Glad you got it working. So happy to have book club again. I hope next week turns your enjoyment up. I'm still definitely enjoying it, but I also, I get it. The book is like, oh my god, this is heavy. Like there's yeah, it's not happy. And that's not a knock. It doesn't have to be happy.
No.
But
I'm just not in like the best headspace to
the world kind of sucks a little bit. So
I think
like
that
our world, not this world.
I think that I've been in a little bit of a like trying to find some escapism. I've been really enjoying The Boys for being a funny satire about this shit.
Yeah.
You know, I've been watching a lot of Jon Stewart lately. I've just been looking for a way out, whereas this book feels, there's this concept that's kind of been passed around lately about like the fact that we're all kind of living through a slow apocalypse brought upon us by capitalism.
Yeah.
And it just sort of feels like this book is about that. And I'm like, fuck, man. And so, yeah, it's not a criticism of the novel at all. It's just that this book feels heavy, and so the reading each week, I'm like, God damn it. I don't...
Yeah.
Like, there's almost part of me that doesn't want to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't want to be brought into that, like... It's interesting. It's an interesting experience, and, like, coming to that realization this week was stark for me.
Yeah,
just be honest.
A lot of people use reading as escapism and like fantasy. Like, I don't really read books that don't have magic in them because I don't give a fuck. I like to go to a magical place. Right? Like, if it's too close to the real world, I'm not really interested. And so it's tough.
Samantha A says, depression is definitely a theme of this book. I recommend maybe breaking up Stormlight with some happier secret projects like Trust the Emerald Sea. Let's see what Chad thinks. I think we're not doing Trust because it's new, right?
Is it new?
Trust came out last year.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Ernest, I'll thank you, but Samantha, thank you for the recommendation. I think we're gonna.
Yeah, thank you, Samantha.
I think we're gonna keep going because this has to get. I'm assuming this book goes somewhere by the fucking end of it. I fucking hope so. I'm gonna say this: the book, the sadness of the book wouldn't be such a problem if the book had a plot. But because the book has no plot, it's just depressing. Like,
yeah.
And before you guys come in and be like, no, there is plot. Kaladin is now always on chasm duty. There's no plot. This book has literally no plot.
They're doing
I'm
with the Mulan.
so sorry.
They're doing Mulan with the spears.
100%. He's going to make a man out of them. The book has no plot. The book is just stuff that happens around our characters who happen to be present sometimes.
Yeah.
And then there's interludes where actually important things happen and our characters are not present for those.
Except for destroying art. I'm not really sure how that is relevant yet, but we'll get there.
I was like, are we in Emperor's Soul again?
Yeah,
What the fuck is happening?
No, I literally thought that.
This book has no plot. Nothing happens. Literally, nothing fucking happens in this book. I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be an asshole. Nothing happens in this book. It is very good, and it is very well written, and it is very interesting, and not a fucking thing happens in it.
You can't say this book. We're not done it yet.
Sorry, in the first 3 sections of this book, not a goddamn thing happens.
In a whole wheel of time. I just want to say, Snowwolf, thank you over on Twitch for re-subscribing for 6 months.
Yeah, what's up, Twitch viewers? Apparently, it's our affiliate anniversary, so that's cool.
Okay.
Ernest, I'll take back Super Chat. The Stormlight Archive, at its core, is about the struggle of mental health, and even on the world of magic, there's no quick fix. The lows are low, but the highs are like nothing else I have read. Great. I can't wait to get to a high. Just one. Just a singular high would be great.
I get there.
But I appreciate the super
Thank
chat.
you for that super chat. That's going to the camera fund.
Cade Catastrophe, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you for the
Welcome
super
back. Chat. Glad to have Mom and Dad back to break down my favorite series while I both laugh and scream internally. Yeah, that's fair.
I think that is what book club is.
Ilma Vavi says, do you know what plot means? Yes. Yes.
Things are happening, kind of.
Hypnopotamus says, very untrue, but your opinion is yours. No, it's not untrue. This book has, the plot in this book does not go anywhere. It is quite literally stuck in a circle. And you want to know how I know that it's stuck in a circle? Because the characters are talking about how they're stuck in a circle. That's what the book's about.
I mean, look, Kaladin,
that's what they say in the novel.
Kaladin has made strides. Okay, he's saving people. That counts as something.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%.
Shallan has literally been in one room for 800 pages, which is fine.
Yeah.
I'm very much enjoying this book. But, yeah, I definitely understand why people read this, and they're like, why is nothing happening? Because I think it is, I think this book is doing a lot of heavy lifting for the world building for the series as a whole, which I find very interesting. I like world building stuff. Like, that is very much intriguing to me. But depending on what you enjoy in storytelling, I think that, like, this book in particular, mileage may vary. Because there's there are a lot of people out there who read this book and are like, why is nothing happening? Like, it's a popular critique that I have seen on the internet. Arzu, welcome back to the Nerd Table. You're not insane for thinking this. My first read at this point, I kept thinking, where are we going with this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those weird things where often when I'm reading a book, I understand pretty clearly the trajectory of the story.
Yes. And
I don't with this book, which is actually, like, in a weird way kind of fun and interesting for me, because I'm like, where are we going to go with this? But I can also see why it is frustrating. Yeah. Brian, welcome back to the Nerd Table. Want to see how much Nerdy would hate Joe Abercrombie's First Law trilogy, because the first book famously has no plot. It's all character stuff. That sounds rude.
Okay. But here's my question. Okay, Joe
how
Abercrombie.
How many pages is it? Because if it's like 200 pages, here's the thing about it. Right? The thing about it is we have read the same number of pages as a Wheel of Time book, right?
Yeah.
That's why it feels kind of crazy.
Okay, so the first book is called The Blade Itself, and it has how many pages?
Watch, it's longer.
It's 515 pages. So
that's
it is
still long. That's
2/3 of what we've read so far in this book. I'm not, like, totally out on books that don't have plot. It's fine to not have plot. It's cool. This book is just so fucking long.
Gordon
nothing happens.
Yeah, Gordon Chet, thank you for that super chat. Never noticed since I finished Way of Kings in one day on my first read and first week proud of rereads. That's fair. But agree, slow pacing is very apparent now. I'm at book club speed. Personally don't mind, but finally see why some readers drop. Yeah, I'm
not interested in dropping. I'm interested. Like I said, the writing is good.
Yeah.
The book is interesting. The world's great. Yeah. And like you said, like the world building is interesting. That doesn't mean that the plot is moving. It's not. The plot is intentionally stagnant. We know this because that's the plot isn't going anywhere right now because the book doesn't want it to. The War on the Plains is stuck in a circle that is going nowhere.
Yeah, for 6 years.
Shalyn's plot can't really move forward until Yasna figures out whatever it is she's trying to figure out. And they can get out of there. The plot is literally stagnant on purpose. I'm not saying this to be a dick to Brandon Sanderson. Everyone is literally in a stuck place because they don't have the information to move in any direction. That is the point. That is what is happening in the book.
I think it deliberately informs the theme of the book, the depression, the mental health side of
100%.
things. Right, like, it is deliberate. It is not a bad thing. But at book club pace, we're definitely, like, feeling it a little bit, which is on us. We were like, okay, we only have so much reading time per week. We got to break it down to this many parts, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
Judah, welcome back to the Nerd Table. This book dropped in my series ranking because of being very slow due to the world building compared to others. This is a common criticism of book one. Yeah, other people say this. We can say it too.
The world building is mostly interesting. I also will say the world building is a little overwhelming because a lot of it is completely contextless. Which I think is when people are like, it's so cool on a reread because you realize they said this thing in book one that meant fuck all at that point.
Yeah.
Like the art person doesn't mean anything to me.
Art person, even Zeth.
No, Zeth is the best part of the whole book because Zeth is the only part of the book where anything's fucking happening.
Sure, but I mean, Zeth out of context is less interesting and would be way more interesting on rereads when we know what these murders, what the repercussions of them are. Like, how the world functions and how taking out these players, like, how he is affecting the world, right? Right now, we don't have that perspective. But, like, later on, we will. And that's why I think I will absolutely love this book on a reread. But it is, I am missing context for certain things and just kind of being like, yeah, this is going to be so good later. Like,
yeah. And so and what's fun about the tease of it's going to be good later, in my opinion, is when you get to it, right? Is that you tease up to, like, a reveal.
Yeah.
And, like, the people in our chat who are like, this book, like, someone just posted, like, Razor Boomerangs says, Way of Kings is a ton of setup for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I get that. I feel that. It doesn't feel like a very good book right now. Like, Way of Kings doesn't feel like a very good individual book.
Well done.
No, I said it's well written and it's interesting.
Uh-huh.
I don't think that this book feels like a good book. It feels like good writing to set up future stuff that will be very good books, right? But right now, this book is not, like, on its own, feeling like a succinct novel.
But you just said that you don't have to have a lot of plot to make a good book.
Right, but this book is so scatterbrained at times. With, like, every part has epitaphs that are a different style about a different thing. There's an entire letter from Hoyd that is broken up into the epitaphs of part 2 that is literally not relevant to anything. The second series of Interludes introduces an immortal character who has been facing fantasy racism for eons because he's slightly different. Interlude part 3 brings in a woman who has old magic and destroys art. You know what I mean? Like, this book feels like a bunch of random shit thrown into a novel sometimes. And they're not connected. The death words from the epitaphs of the first part didn't really mean anything. Didn't go anywhere.
All the time.
And so, yes, once I kind of understand what the fuck any of this has to do with anything else in the book, you could tell me that some of these interludes happen on different planets, and I would go, sure, I guess. I don't fucking know what's going on.
Right.
The plot isn't moving forward, and we're just getting thrown a bunch of shit. Mm-hmm. And, like, some of it seems so random and different that I'm like, well, this can't even be the same magic system.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying that, like, the book will be bad when I finish it. Mm-hmm. But right now I'm kind of looking, especially after these interludes, going, what the fuck are we doing? Why is Zeth the only character whose, like, actions matter right now? And he's only in one interlude every, like, 500 pages?
I mean, I definitely think that Dalinar's actions matter, but the choice that he made, we haven't seen the outcome of it yet. So, that's...
No, but even Dalinar, we finally have a character make a fucking choice, right? There's a character who makes a decision that's going to impact the plot, and then he's gone for 300 pages.
I know. He's back, though. Did you see?
I know. He's back in the next section.
He's gonna be back.
But, like, the pacing of this book is driving me insane. Because I'm, like, so in on Dalinar's thing, and he's like, I abdicate. Bye. I'm leaving now. And you're not going to know what that means for anything.
Just pieces up.
Until after 6 interludes, the King of Yakavet is dead. Shallan is now seeing fucking, like, aliens with numbers for faces. This book is insane. It's so wild and out there. I don't know what's going on, and our main characters don't know what's going on, and none of the characters know what's going on, and everyone's just fucking confused. Shallan is listening to lectures by a woman who doesn't know what she's talking about, who's, like, half informed about things. And so it's this...
What do you mean?
Like, Yasna, like, doesn't have any answers for her, right? She's bad at philosophy, but we'll get to that. But, like, when it comes to the Voidbringer stuff, Yasna's literally, like, going through a library hoping that it has answers to a question that she doesn't know what she's asking.
Yeah, she's a philosopher. She's looking for answers. That's what they do. That doesn't make her a bad philosopher.
100%. But if
100 point.
100 point. But at the same time, Shallan's plotline is that she's in school and her teacher doesn't know what she's teaching.
Well, Yasna isn't her teacher in the sense of lecturing her. Yasna's like,
really? Because that's most of what those chapters are.
No, Yasna is like, read these books and you tell me what you think about it, which is what I find that honestly incredibly fascinating, is that it's not Yasna being like, this is what I believe and this is what I think and this is me. It's like, what do you think? I'm going to counterpoint it. Right? In a way, just playing devil's advocate and having that person to bounce off of. Yeah. But I don't think Yasna's sitting there lecturing her, telling her, like, what to think and what to believe. Like that. And so in that case, I do actually believe...
I think we're reading a lot of lectures for that not to be the case.
No, we're reading conversations. Shallan will ask a thing, and Yasna will answer it, and they will go back and forth. And, like, Yasna will play devil's advocate and really challenge what Shallan is saying so that Shallan truly believes that what she's saying is what she believes.
But in playing devil's advocate, Yasna is the devil.
Yasna's great.
Her advocacy is for herself. Official ACM says, fuck, marry, kill Eminem, Torol, Sidious, and the duo of Hashal Metal. I don't know who Hashal Metal are.
I don't know who that is.
Sidious's first name is Torol?
Coral.
I don't know. I guess I'd kill Sidious marry Amaram and fuck the duo because like you can't marry two people. None of that sounds great, to be honest.
Yeah, this just sounds like a bad time all around.
Katharok says, I think you would really do yourself a favor if you went into reading with less expectations on what is supposed to happen. The best books are not that predictable or formulaic. I don't really know what you mean. I don't really know what you mean. Like, what is supposed to happen? I'm not saying what is supposed to happen in this book.
You just have expectations that things will happen.
I just have expectations that the characters will lead the book at some point.
Yeah.
And not just be, like, blown around by fate while...
By the high storms.
Really interesting things that I don't understand are happening in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like people... I understand why people are... I understand why people want to disagree with me about it. I totally get it. I'm just... I'm at a point with this book where I'm like, the main characters have to start doing things actively at some point because we're 800 pages in and nothing has happened in our main characters' plots except that Dalinar has abdicated and Shallan has soul cast, but she still doesn't know how. We are like a final empire and a half into this book, and all of our main characters have magic and none of them know how to use it. We're at the point where it's like, at some point, all of the stuff that is happening has to make sense to somebody. It doesn't have to be me even, but somebody in the plot has to have some clue what the fuck is going on. Because having just everyone be fucking confused is a little exhausting. It's a little exhausting to me.
Kaladin's
in a world that is
confused.
so... Yes, he is. Kaladin doesn't know that he has fucking magic, even though the audience has known for so long.
Yeah, he just thinks he's unlucky. He's not confused.
That he's very confused because he doesn't understand what's going on. That is like he thinks he's unlucky. He's wrong. Therefore, he is confused about his situation.
If the definition of being confused means that you don't know everything about yourself and the world around you, then we are all confused at all points in time.
I mean, that would be a philosophical argument that you could make.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that.
I'm learning. Yasna is a great teacher, okay?
Tithanisk says Yasna knows what is going on. Yasna does not know what is going on, and if she did, the plot would start to move forward.
The one thing about Yasna is we know she's trying to figure out what the Void Bringers are or something about them, and so that's kind of the big question that I'm like, does Yasna know more than Shallan does, or is Yasna like genuinely like unsure? She's got to be unsure because otherwise she would return.
Otherwise, the plot would start moving. The plot is Shallan's plot is stuck in time until Yasna answers a question that we don't know she's asking. Right? Like that. It's sort of like Wheel of Time season 1, where like the whole plot kind of got hung up on the who is the dragon mystery. This is not like that, in that this is much better written than that. But this is in a same boat narratively where this plot line cannot move forward until Yasna makes a discovery that we are, as the audience, aren't aware of. And so Shallan and Yasna are just in Kharbranth
I feel like it's
researching
what the Voidbringers
something. But if that answer isn't in that library...
Look, if it's going to be anywhere...
But how, like, and maybe there's just so many books and nobody knows what's in it.
Well, there's what, 270,000, I think?
Sure, yeah. And so she's
I think we
looking...
got that number.
She's looking for some answer to some question that we think is the Voidbringers, but might be something else, because she's not the POV character. Shallan is, and Shallan's storyline is... I don't know. It's fine. I don't find Shallan to be that interesting right now, to be honest.
Yeah, we feel very differently about this book.
I think that Shallan's situation is more interesting than she is as a person. And so her POV on it doesn't really matter to me, because I don't think that she is very interesting. I think her situation is. And I think that I want her to like be... I just want her to fucking like... I don't know. Yeah.
All right.
I think that she is a very... bland character in a very interesting plotline, in that she is not active enough.
Wow, rude.
I mean it though. Like, I think that she is not active enough, I internally or externally, to interact with any of this in a way that I find engaging to read. And so a lot of it just ends up being sort of these like these conversations where everybody else has all of the information, and Shallan is just sort of like wide-eyed, just like being like, oh, okay, well, Kabsal must love me. I don't understand what's going on in the world.
I think the reason that I like Shalyn in this book, and not that I find her the most interesting character, but why I like reading her POV is because it is my POV, because she's the one learning things, and so like the stuff that she's studying, the relationship she's having, the like inner conflict feels like the reader's POV in a lot of ways, and so I feel like that's why I like reading her stuff, even if I don't find her, like, the most captivating as a person.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah. Arzu, thank you for that super chat.
Research doesn't mean an answer will materialize from the right book. It means reading loads until some conclusion can be drawn from enough correlations, at least in Yasna's case. Yes, my problem with that as the, like, sticking point of the plot right now is that we don't know what Yasna's reading. We only know what she's talking to Shalyn about, which isn't what she's researching. And so the plot is stuck behind research that is happening off-page with a character whose POV we're not in, who could come to the conclusion that she needs to at any time and advance the plot for reasons that we won't be aware of because we're not in it. So the plot is stuck behind fictional research that is happening off-page in a character whose POV we don't have. And when that character off-page discovers whatever it is she needs to discover, then the plot will start moving again, right? We're literally stuck behind the wall of it will move when Brandon Sanderson writes that it moves, which is how all books work, obviously. But it is it stands out more in this case because, again, we're 800 pages into a book.
I think we're only... is that on your iPad that says that?
Yeah.
Because I think in the actual book, I think we're about 500 pages in. I could be
There's
wrong.
no way. We're like 70% through a 1,200-page book.
1,200 pages of, like, actual pages? I'm actually, like, not 100% sure, so chat might be able to help us with that. Because
Interludes 9 ends on page 800 out of...
Yes, on your iPad.
Out of 1,100.
On your iPad. The book, the actual book can't be that many pages because the iPad has less.
Do you think the book is less than 1,100 pages?
Yeah, like these pages look really small.
Okay, but we're still on 800 out of 1,100. We're still.
Oh, percentage-wise, yes, yeah. I understand. But I was thinking we were 800 pages in, which is like the size of a big Wheel of Time book, but it's not. It is not. It is not that far in. Page 1007. Okay.
So we're 700 and something pages in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
I mean, the hardcover is 1092, and Michael Kioski's paperback is 1,200. So okay. I'm not that far off.
No, not that far.
We're like 800 pages in.
I'm only asking for clarity because, like, I'm because I'm not 100% sure. You know, the Kindle is this big, and it's all different sizes, so I'm not sure. But. Yeah. Before we, but we already are into the book. Before we get into this book, we had talked about doing baby book clubs, and okay. I brought this up yesterday, and then I was thinking of it as we were talking. Netflix is doing the Uglies movie that's dropping in the fall. And I read and really enjoyed that series when I was younger. And I was thinking about maybe doing a baby book club on it. So if you're familiar with the Uglies series, let me know in Discord. If that's like something that people will be like interested in, let me know. If not, if like no one cares about these books, then that's fine. But like I really enjoyed them when I was younger, and I would like reread them for like the movie coming out.
I was reading Michael Kioski's comment and it made me laugh.
The Uglies.
No, you're gonna read it and I'm not, and then we're gonna react to the movie separately.
Yeah, but I was like, but I was like, do we do a baby book club on it after the movie?
Oh, I'd be no.
Like a oneer.
No, guys, baby book clubs are going to be like not 3 hours on books that we don't have as much to say about. Like I'm going to be doing baby book clubs on the Percy Jackson series.
And stuff that we're not breaking up into chunks.
Yeah.
Because I have already read it.
It would be more like an hour-long book review that is
live.
A whole book and maybe live. Maybe
yeah. Yeah.
It would be like a supplement to book club.
Guys are such shits.
Michael Kioski says, I just tore my book in half. There are now 2,400 pages. And in that case, we're like 1,600 pages into this book.
Well, damn. Okay.
We're like 1,600 pages into this book at this point.
Damn, that's
and
math.
And not a goddamn thing has happened.
That's the math.
No, it's... Okay. That aside, because we've talked that to fucking death. It's been a half an hour. the characters are interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's all you have to say.
Shalyn is...
You're like, I'm gonna say...
seeing
I'm gonna
ghosts.
shit on it for 30 minutes. But
I don't think I was shitting on it.
I'm teasing.
I don't think I was maybe a little bit, but like I'm not even saying it's a
bad
book.
You are frustrated. And that's
I'm a little bit frustrated with
absolutely valid.
Yeah.
Absolutely valid.
I also just think that it's because none of it is very happy. It's like it's long and depressing. And so I'm just kind of like, well, why am I doing this to myself? It also doesn't seem like it's going fucking anywhere, right? If I had the feeling that it was depressing and going somewhere, it would feel very different.
Yeah.
But it is the feeling depressed and stuck where I'm like, well, okay, I guess it's just sad and...
Yeah, you're like, wow, I feel like shit.
but it isn't that the writing is bad at all, right? Like I don't have like... maybe I think that Shalyn is less interesting than her plot line, I guess, is the only thing that I would say maybe is not the best writing. I don't know. You know, like I don't have like writing complaints. I don't have story complaints really.
Yeah.
Like the fact that there isn't a plot isn't really a complaint because you're allowed to write a book with no plot. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
This book is it is a personal subjective thing of me going, this book makes me sad and it's fucking long.
Yeah.
And it's super interesting and well written. And I also just I'm not vibing hard on any of it.
Guys.
And it's fun.
Not
like
vibing.
the Dalinar Adolin stuff was fun and going somewhere. And then it just hard stops.
Yeah.
And takes a 300-page break in the moment where it's the only plot line where shit is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, we're 2 weeks away, or I guess 3 real world weeks, but 2 weeks of reading away from the book doing anything. And so I'm like, fuck, can we get back to the guy who does stuff? I really want to know what Dalinar and Adolin are up to because there's actually moments. I know. I know.
Judah, thank you for the super chat. This book makes you really live Kaladin's hardship.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and it sucks, guys. Sucks to be Kaladin right now, anyways.
Yeah. And goddamn it, Kaladin, just fucking use your brain. Just for one goddamn second, Kaladin. He's such a low intelligence character. He's like very wisdom heavy. He is a warlock, not a wizard. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Kaladin isn't curious about fucking anything. Kaladin is like, sees literal magic shit go down and then goes, it's probably nothing. I'm just unlucky. And then moves on as if, like, the craziest shit in the world is not happening around him.
I mean, Kaladin was the one character who questioned why they were on the Shattered Plains, why it was taking so long, why the battles were structured the way they were, why the bridgemen were used the way that they were. So I wouldn't call him
and then
not
Siglif comes in and explains everything because it's not that fucking hard to figure out. Kaladin being confused and then having another character come and tell him all the answers is not Kaladin being a high intelligence character. He has the wisdom to know that there are questions to be asked, but he doesn't have the intelligence to answer any of the questions.
But he's also like a surgeon and so is very intelligent in
Being
a way.
a surgeon does not mean that you're intelligent.
You have to know a lot of information, which is what wizards are.
Okay.
They know a lot of information.
Knowing a lot of information and knowing how to put that information together to answer new questions
wisdom.
Are different things.
So he would be low wisdom then.
Fuck, no, you're right. He's not really either of them. He's just charismatic.
Got him! No, I get you.
Yeah, like Kaladin has fucking magic. And I think that part of the pacing issue I think with Kaladin is that the audience, because I've read so many people say that this book has pacing issues, right?
Yeah.
I think one of them is that the audience is so far ahead of the book on Kaladin's magical ability that the audience is going, we're past like them telegraphing that Kaladin has magic. The book is outright just telling us. There is a person standing next to Kaladin whose constant like inner monologue is Kaladin's magical, Kaladin's magical, Kaladin's magical, Kaladin's magical.
Attempt is Kaladin, like, so Kaladin, you feeling funny lately? And
Kaladin is so unaware.
Yeah. He's like, wow, I should have been in bed for 4 weeks and I'm back in 10 days.
And he has no questions about that. He's like, wow, that's crazy. I healed so fast.
What a medical man, you know?
He's a fucking surgeon. The audience, by virtue of the writing, is so deeply ahead of him that Kaladin kind of comes across as a little bit dumb, but he isn't.
No,
he's not. It is just that the writing has given the audience all of this information that he doesn't have.
Yeah.
And then wants us to sit with him not knowing anything and be interested in it. And I'm like, he fucking did like magic katana shit in the fucking chasm with his magic spren that he's fucking like bonded to? I don't know.
Johnny Coleman, thank you for that super chat. Johnny's asking, is he a Phalok? Is Syl his patron?
Oh,
which
shit.
pact?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't have his pact yet because he gets his pact at level 3, but when he gets it, he will be Pact of the Blade, and the blade will be his shard blade.
His shard blade.
Yeah, because he can summon it. I mean, obviously, warlocks can summon and dispel their blade at will.
Yeah.
Not with 10 heartbeats,
Well,
which is actually
there's also,
so long. But
yeah, it is. There is also a spell, right? That's
but it's
like
faster in battle.
a magical weapon.
The more danger you're in, the faster you can get your sword out.
Yeah, if a round is 6 seconds, that means summoning your shard blade would take like 2 rounds. Because like your heartbeat is about a second. Like, I don't know, approximately. And if a round is 6 seconds, you don't get your sword right away.
Judah Ken is there. Thank you for that super chat. Kaladin the Paladin. He's not really a paladin. He doesn't have an oath. I don't think that he cares much. He's not divine in any way. In
a weird way, he's kind of like a paladin. Like, he's a protective paladin in a sense of, like, I don't know, like medicine, but not like of a religious figure, I don't think. But I get it. It also rhymes, which I enjoy.
Catharak says, I honestly don't see the problem with the reader knowing things the characters don't. It is the other way around often enough, which you are also complaining about. I'm not saying I don't mind knowing things the characters don't in like or vice versa. I'm saying that the pacing of this book in particular is, I think, a little bit marred by the way Kaladin's magic is being teased at us. And him not questioning any of it. It
feels like we've known it for a while, and he has no clue. Like, he's not, like, on the path to figuring it out. He's like, oh, man, I'm unlucky. And that's kind of it. And
clues keep popping up, and he ignores them.
Yeah.
And so it does... I feel like, from a pacing perspective, every new bit of information Kaladin gets, he doesn't add to, like, a laundry list of things he's thinking. He just kind of moves on from it, while we're sitting here being like... That's another one. It's an interesting...
Yeah. But if we were reading this faster, it might not feel as drawn out. Yeah. Because of the pacing, right?
Yeah, and if I could breeze through the whole book, I don't think I would be thinking about this very much. And the reason why I want to talk about this, and I think the reason why we've talked about this for, the first 40 minutes of this podcast, is because we promise honesty. You know what I mean? Like, our big thing is that we never want to provide the audience with bullshit opinions that we're making up. I'm never going to say that I'm having a great time when I'm not, right? Mm-hmm. But also, like, there are a lot of people who have this criticism of this book in particular. Mm-hmm. And I think that for me to be like, well, for me to excuse what I think are pacing issues to the way that we're reading it, when so many people who have not read it weekly on a book club like this have said that they have these exact pacing issues, I think would do a disservice to the fact that this is like this criticism that I'm feeling about the book is shared by the community.
Oh yeah, I just think it is definitely exacerbated by the pace at which we are reading. Like, both are true.
I don't know if I agree with that. Because I'm used to this pace now. And it's still like in the moment I'm reading it going, I don't know. Anyway, we need to get into the sections.
Right, yes.
Let's start with chapter 42, Beggars and Barmaids. So Clarus, if you had to guess, when Shallan approached Yasna about the morality of killing 4 men in an alley, what do you think Yasna's defense is when Shallan says it's morally wrong what you did?
Why does she have to defend herself?
Because she killed people? We typically ask people who kill people to defend themselves.
Well, she's not in a court, so I genuinely expected this scene to go exactly the way that it did. Where Shalyn being like, I think you're wrong, and Yasna was like, okay.
Okay, because what Yasna says exactly is, Shalyn says, you think I'm wrong, I assume. And Yasna's entire defense of her actions is, you are. But I accept that you believe what you are saying and have put rational thought behind it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's Yasna's. That's Yasna. That's all we get from Yasna. She has no actual.
She's a princess. She does not need to justify herself to her ward. It is exactly how I thought that scene would play out.
I was disappointed in it.
Oh, okay.
I think it's bad tutelage to just say you're wrong and not give any reason or example why.
But the problem with philosophy is that a lot of times there isn't a clear right and wrong. It is based on people's opinions,
which is why you have to provide what those opinions are. But if you make a philosophical argument, because I think that Shalyn makes a well-reasoned philosophical argument to Yasna here,
mm-hmm.
and Yasna goes no, and then leaves the conversation. And I felt like it was an actually like unintellectual conversation that was had between them. Because Yasna doesn't engage at all.
Yeah, sure.
And so we didn't learn anything about Yasna here other than the fact that she's dismissive, which I found to be a little bit disappointing in this moment because I was hoping to see her... I wanted to see her engage Shalyn.
Yeah.
And instead what we got was kind of condescension.
Well, I think that it is going to...
disagree with.
I think it's going to come back into play because usually Yasna is happy to go back and forth. Mm-hmm. But I believe that Yasna thinks she's right because of personal reasons that she is not willing to share yet. Which is why I think it's going to, like, come back. Like, I think that there is a rationale for her that she is not comfortable sharing yet. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I'm right. I'm a princess. I'm right. I'm always
I can
right.
murder poor people. I think that it makes me like Yasna less is the problem as a character. I'm less interested in a princess who is... I think that a person with as much power as her being this kind of dismissive in the wake of someone being like, I think it's wrong that you murdered people is... I don't know. I really want to like her because I actually think she's a very interesting character. And I just don't. I found this to be it was a little off-putting to me. I was like, oh, you don't... You're comfortable with the fact that you murdered them because you can get away with it, not because it feels like you've put any actual thought into this.
Well, that I don't think so. That's not true. She just didn't share what those thoughts were.
Maybe. I don't know. I have not seen evidence that Yasna has empathy. And I think that when you have as much power as she does and no empathy and are comfortable with murder, it is a concerning series of character traits for an entitled, spoiled brat to have, which is what Yasna comes across sometimes as.
The thing is that we definitely see Yasna trying to be like empathetic later and and trying to apologize, and it's just things that she's not very good at. Like she comes across like honestly, she comes across like a little neurodivergent in the sense that she's like so hard focused on a thing and doesn't engage in the like social like pleasantries that others do. She is very cut and dry. She's very to the point. She's very like singularly focused. She's a hard time like showing empathy and like apologizing and things like that, which you could attribute to her social status, but compiled with the other things, it just feels a little like neurospicy.
Sure, but I'm autistic as fuck, and I don't use that to excuse me killing people.
No, I'm not talking about the killing people. I'm talking about the conversations where she just like seems very like cold and stoic in a way. But like is shown later, like she does care about Shalyn. She's just like very bad at expressing it.
Yeah, I think that people who don't express their care very well would be considered not empathetic in most situations, right? I think that that's how we would classify them. I don't think that she has a lot of empathy. Not being empathetic doesn't mean that you don't care at all, right? But I don't think that I I don't think that she is very aware of other people's emotions. The only reason she's aware of challenge, which is what empathy is, right? Like,
but that's like a neurospicy trait. The like awareness of like the.
I think that you can read it that way, but I don't think that you have to be neurospicy to not be empathetic.
Sure.
I think that we probably read it that way closer because we are both on different spectrums, but on our spectrums, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas like Yasna might just not.
No,
be
they
empathetic,
might.
You know what I mean?
It absolutely might be me putting my own experiences onto this character and onto this book.
But I think that if Yasna was empathetic, then I would be surprised. I can't. In my head, I don't picture an empathetic person going into an alley to kill thieves without considering...
Kill murderers.
They are not murderers. They have not killed anyone.
She believes that they are murderers.
That doesn't make them murderers. That's not how that works.
But it's from her perspective.
Yeah, but that's not how... You don't get to believe someone into being a murderer. That's just not... That's not how... This is my problem with Yasna. I don't care what she fucking believes. She doesn't have evidence. Those 4 people maybe are murderers and maybe aren't. And she doesn't know. She doesn't know for a fact that that is what is going on. And you being like murderers as if that's like evidence, it isn't. They have not killed anybody that we know of.
I mean, people get like canceled online without evidence of things happening, but of like he said, she said kind of deal. And Yasna believes that
nobody
these people
actually gets canceled. Well, Kevin Spacey got canceled. He's kind of the only one who actually got canceled. Canceling doesn't work 99% of the time.
I'm just saying that, like, from her perspective, it's the same alley where people have been murdered, like, several times, at night with this sort of set of circumstances. Like, they were coming at them with knives and weapons.
You can threaten someone and not murder them. That, like, most people who are threatened with a knife are not subsequently murdered. They're robbed, and then the person runs away. The majority of people threatened with knives are not murdered. Like, I
but
think
he's not standing there being like, give me your valuables. He's coming at her to stab her.
Yeah, because she wants... We're not getting into that again. My point here is that Yasna...
No. They are coming at them to attack. They're not standing there with weapons being like, all right, ladies, you give us your valuables right now to steal from them. They are approaching them to attack and kill. Or
and
at least
whose
maim.
fault is that?
That doesn't matter.
It
That's not
does.
the point.
It does.
No,
because
Yasna's
Yasna's the only character that we follow into the situation.
Yes, but that is not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that Yasna believes they're murderers because they are coming at her to murder her. They are coming at her with knives. I'm sorry.
That you had the physical.
If someone is coming at me with a knife, if Chucky Doll is coming at me stabby, I'm like, oh, they're gonna fucking kill me.
Okay, but the point of what I'm saying is that an empathetic person...
Okay, wait. This is not victim blaming because Yasna put herself in the situation to deliberately kill these people. So that invalid. Get out of here. It's not the same thing. We had this discussion last week. But I'm saying that, like, from Yasna's POV, in this moment, they are coming at her to kill her, which is the point that I am bringing into this discussion.
Okay. Oh, God, I don't want to get into this again, but DeFalcon Zero says, Nerdy, that is the same attitude people use to say, why did they dress so provocatively then? No, it's not, because she did it for this. This is literally the opposite of that, because she did do this to get murdered. That was the fucking point. That was the reason she did all of it. She did... This would be like a woman going to the bar and being like, I'm going to dress as slutty as possible so that I get raped. And then being like,
so that I can kill them.
But that's not the point in real life, is that women don't dress that way to get raped. That is not their intended goal. Their intended goal is to feel good about themselves. In this book, Yasna did it so that she would get attempted murdered. She went to the most dangerous street in town, showed all of her money off, and then, because that literally was the goal. I'm not saying that. She says it.
Yeah.
She states it obliquely that it was the fucking point. She dressed provocatively to get attacked.
Yeah.
That was the whole point. And I'm not putting that on her. She puts it on her fucking self and is proud of it.
Yeah. Yasna explicitly states her intentions. And in a court, right? Like, if this was on trial, you would have to prove those intentions, which I don't think that there would be a way to do that. And so that argument isn't...
Yeah, there would. It would be Shalyn going, yeah, she told me that we went there to do this.
If Shalyn testified against her, then yes, then absolutely.
Yeah, if you don't have witnesses, but Yasna told Shalyn that this was going to happen before it happened. I want to move on from that. That's not the point. We already talked about that last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. My point here is that I think that a character who I would call a high empathy character would consider the why of those people's situation and understand. I think that a rich person with high empathy looks at poor people and goes, how can I change the system to help them? Because I can see why they're ending up that way. Yasna doesn't have high empathy. She doesn't view them as people, right? She views them as evil. She literally says that they're evil in that chapter, right? She believes in good and evil as like fundamentals that exist.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that high empathy people view people more on a spectrum of circumstances and like availability and options, right? And I that is why I'm saying I don't think Yasna has high empathy.
Yeah.
I think that she's very intelligent.
Yeah.
And she's witty and she's got a lot going for her. But she struggles not only with interacting with people, but she struggles at seeing the fullness of other people. And in that was the argument that I was trying to make. I didn't want to go all the way down that road again, and we did. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
But the point I was making is that like Yasna does not view them as anything other than probably murderers. And that to me is a failing of her empathy.
All right.
Yeah, and they're dead because Yasna failed to view them more complexly. And just saw them as a problem to stamp out. And she's proud of it, right? Like, she literally said it. She's like, I went there to do good. And she views what she did as a like, moral good. That's her own language in this chapter.
Yeah.
Is like, where is it?
Yeah, Shalyn's like, I think you were wrong. And she was like, no, well, you're wrong, so, yeah.
No, but that's not all she says. She says, Yasna says, understand that I was trying to do good.
Yeah.
Like, she views it as a good and evil conversation.
Yeah, she's the Punisher.
But but here's the thing. The Punisher knows that he's not good. And that is the fundamental difference between the two characters to me. The Punisher goes, I'm doing bad shit that is bad because these people are also bad. And that he is aware of the fact that what he is doing is wrong,
right,
in order to attempt to do some good, and acknowledges that he doesn't get that right all the time. But they do, and that the police should not be like him because he's a bad person.
But they do talk about that, like, you can do bad things to, like, what is it? It's in there somewhere where they talk about you can do bad things to do good, and you can do good things, like, for bad ends. Like, it's like that is discussed very briefly in like 2 sentences.
Omniocra says their complicity doesn't remove them being murderers. Nerdy, you're being so much the same things as Yasna. You are so much like Yasna. It's kind of funny. I agree with that. I think that she and I are very alike, which is why I'm frustrated that she's on the other side of this than me. They're not murderers. We do not know that they've killed anybody. They're in an alley where people have died in the past, and they have knives and are threatening people in a poor part of town that is dangerous. We do not know that they are murderers. Yasna does not, like, I cannot stress this enough. We don't know that. We can say it all the fuck we want. That does not make it true. There's no evidence that these 4 men murdered anybody.
Yeah.
They're not murderers. We don't know that.
Guillaume, thank you. Welcome back to the nerd table. Both parties are wrong. Both were out to kill. They're dead because they tried to kill her even though she was looking for it. I mean, yeah, they did attack. If they hadn't done anything, then nothing would have happened in that alley. But also, if Yasna hadn't gone there looking to do violence, nothing would have happened in that alley. So both parties are in the wrong.
Guys, I don't know how to tell you this, but swinging a knife at someone does not make you a murderer until they die. It's not murderer behavior.
You can get charged with attempted murder.
You can be an attempted murderer, but you are not a murderer until somebody is dead.
In my eyes, same thing. You try and kill somebody, that is whether or not they die is irrelevant.
Sound guy says there's also no evidence they are not murderers. There's also no evidence God exists. I guess that means he's real. I guess we just have to disprove negatives now.
which is also brought up in this section.
You can stab someone and not be a murderer because you don't die every time you're stabbed. Like, in order to be a murderer, you have to have murdered somebody. It's not a preconditioned statement.
We agreed last week that intent matters.
No.
So if intent matters, then attempting to kill someone is no different whether or not they die or not. Like.
Okay, that's actually an interesting point. I like that point. Yeah,
that's what I'm.
You're still not technically a murderer.
Yeah.
Saying that they are murderers because they were in the act of trying to stab somebody that's not how that works.
But morally,
it's just not how it works.
But
morally, it's just not factually how it fucking works.
Morally is the same. Legally, no. Morally, yes. Catherine, thank you for the super chat. At any point you threaten someone with a knife, unless in self-defense, you cannot complain if they kill you, mostly because you are dead. Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Oh, I'm not arguing that those men in the alley have a defense.
No.
I'm just saying that I don't think Yasna's in the right. Moving on from the Lesson Forever Fund. I know.
Thank you, Michael Kiosk.
All right, what else happens in this chapter? Kabsal shows up with more fucking bread.
Poison. Sorry. Bread.
How do you feel about Kabsal?
Man, this is rough. It's obviously the extreme version, but it's like that, like, guy
I don't think
who's
it's that extreme.
I mean, like, when you're like flirting with someone and you think it's real for them, but it like turns out that it's like not. Obviously, it's extreme because he's trying to literally like poison somebody.
Yeah.
Like the motives behind it are very extreme. But I was like, oh, Shannon, I feel bad for you. Like that's rough. He seems like a cool dude, except when he gets like a little like. Well, here's the thing. He gets very upset about the Ardents being slaves, which I'm like, oh, I can understand that.
Yeah.
So
I didn't realize Ardents were slaves until this week, and I literally like wanted to throw my AirPods.
Yeah, I was like, Kabsal, yeah. Although, are you a slave if you can leave of your own accord? I don't know. Oh, you get demoted to 10th non or whatever.
Your
it is.
life, you basically become Dark Eyes.
Yeah. It's weird because
it's not okay. They can
they're slaves
leave
because they can't own anything. They have all of these restrictions. They can leave, but then if they leave, they are like severely punished for it, and so it's still kind of.
I think that this book just
slavery.
has a lot of slavery, and because of Wheel of Time, my hackles are raised, and so every time Brandon Sanderson introduces another form of fantasy slavery into this book, I'm like, God, how many do we fucking need?
Yeah.
How much slavery does this book actually need to have in it? Because it's not even like one kind. We got like all of it. Everyone's a fucking slave of some level.
Yeah. And here's the thing. It seems like the Ardents aren't like treated poorly. It's just a really weird like culty scheme of like, if you ever leave us, you are demoted to the lowest of low possible thing, which in this world means that there's so many things you can't do. Like, I don't even know if you could, like, buy property or, like, the non-Don ranking system, I don't have enough information to really understand the repercussions of what becoming a 10th Don actually means. But it sounds bad. I think the 10th
Don is lower than the second Non. So, like, this would literally put him below...
I don't know.
Lirin, right?
I don't know. That's the weird part is I don't have enough information on the system works and what they are like allowed to do. It's weird. I was like, oh, Kabsal, yeah, I definitely see why you might be upset about that. I don't know.
Yeah. It was like I think that the interesting thing about it is it reminded me so much of Scientology and how if you like leave the Scientology community, you're like excommunicated.
Yeah, so you like hackles got raised a little bit. It's like, ooh.
No, I didn't. My hackles didn't really get raised as much. I'm like, I find it so fascinating because there's a lot of people in our chat right now who are like, well, slavery's real. Like, why shouldn't fantasy worlds have it? And I think what's so fascinating is that these authors can't imagine a world without it. Like it's almost like. We can have dragons and magic and we can have all of these things.
But people still
But we can't imagine not writing slavery constantly into fantasy worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even like against it here. I don't think it's being used particularly poorly here, like it was in Wheel of Time.
Yeah,
I thought Wheel of Time did such a bad job of writing the slavery because it was never from the slaves' perspectives.
Yeah.
No, that's not a spoiler.
No, that was a warning of we're not gonna.
Okay, I'm not talking about anything in specific.
Yeah.
There's just a shit ton of slavery in the Wheel of Time, and it's only from the people who own the slaves' perspectives. We never get anything from the people who are enslaved, right?
Yeah.
And so it felt so like poorly done and oppressive, and I thought Robert Jordan fucked it so hard. And really did. Like I think Robert Jordan does a terrible job.
Fumbled that bag.
And I think the Wheel of Time suffers for it, right? But here, I don't even think that is being handled necessarily poorly. I'm just at a point where I'm like, can I read a fantasy book can we imagine a world that doesn't have this once? And it doesn't seem like any of these authors can. Brandon Sanderson's 5 worlds into the Cosmere, and all of them have slavery. Even within the Cosmere, there's not one place where it doesn't exist. Except, I guess, Elantris. But the plot of that book is that Raoden's dad is bringing it back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so there's just a point where I'm like, how did you create 5 fantasy worlds and didn't imagine one place where there's no slavery?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And will we ever get to a world in the Cosmere where it doesn't exist? Or is this just something that Brandon Sanderson thinks is an inherent truth about fantasy, is that there has to be enslaved people in order to tell a story there? I don't believe that that's true.
Yeah.
But it does seem like that is the case in these books.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
Judah, thank you for that super chat. But yeah, I know, I get that. And look, there probably are fantasy books that don't. I mean, actually, I think I've read some when I was like younger, but like, it's because it's such a complicated thing and a heavy thing and a real thing. I think I think that a lot of people do write about it because there's a lot to say about it. Yeah. So.
I do understand what people are saying, that slavery is real. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm not saying that slavery is completely gone from our world. I'm literally not saying that. I understand that it's a very current, real thing that is bad. I'm saying that reading about it constantly in every single fantasy world makes it seem like we're not that good at writing fantasy. Like, it really... It makes it seem like maybe human beings aren't great at imagining things because we can't get away from anything.
No, I think it's what I just said.
What? Which part of it?
Because it's such a complicated, dark thing that there's so much that authors have to say about it. And so they write about it in a setting that is fantastical.
Sure, but the writers writing about it have no experience with it. Brandon Sanderson is writing about slavery from a perspective that is very divorced from...
You don't have to have experience in a thing to write about it.
I'm not saying that you do.
Okay, then why did you say that?
Because I'm saying that most of my complaints about the way slavery is written in fantasy books comes from middle-aged white men writing slaves into their fantasy books.
Okay, I think people can have something to say about it. I think Robert Jordan did a poor job of it, but I don't think Brandon Sanderson's really... I mean, I don't think...
I'm not saying that Brandon Sanderson's doing it poorly. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that Robert Jordan did a bad job of it, and so I get a little bit more hackle-raisy when we're dealing with it in the Nerdy Wordy Book Club, because we started with someone who did it so poorly. Okay. And it's like I would really, if I was teaching a class on how not to write slavery in fantasy, I would put the Wheel of Time as the #1 example of how not to do it.
Yeah.
I think everything about it is bad. From the fact that people like forget that the Dakoval are slaves all the way down. Everything about how Robert Jordan fucked up the slavery part of that book and ended that book the series the way that he did is like the example of how not to do it. I think Brandon Sanderson is doing versions of it a lot better. I just am surprised that 5 worlds into the Cosmere, we still haven't seen one where it doesn't exist.
Yeah. And
where it isn't a central plot point to Brandon Sanderson's books.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I don't think that it's being handled terribly here.
No, yeah. And maybe it does exist in other books that we just haven't read yet, but...
I just find it fascinating that it is such a recurring theme in these books. Mm-hmm. And you know, like, I think to some extent better than others, right? I think that, like, obviously the way Mistborn handles it is the best because it's about, like, ending slavery and about these people moving on and rising to power, but then not completely destroying everybody who was a slave owner because they can acknowledge, you know what I mean? I think Mistborn handles it the best out of it. Arzu.
No, that was the whole main plot of
Warbreaker. The people who were colonized and oppressed.
No, that was the.
I don't know if you remember
point.
what the twist at the end of that book was.
We were like, oh, this was handled really poorly because the I can't even remember what the group of people.
The Pankal?
Yeah, the Bluefingers people were enslaved, and that's why they like tried to kill them. They said they were slaves. They said that they were slaves. That's not us putting that in. Bluefingers is like, we were slaves. They were not in the time that we were reading Warbreaker in that time period, but because they were slaves and because they were then still oppressed, they like fought back.
So maybe Warbreaker is the one that doesn't have slavery. It just has colonialism being the good guys and the people that were colonized being the bad guys. And then it goes nowhere with that idea.
It was not handled.
Sorry to spoil Warbreaker. The end of that book is wild.
I think I think they've read this. Ernest, so thank you for that super chat. White authors use slavery as character development, just like they use rape as character development for women.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah, I do think that there are people who lean on that.
I did not expect talking about Kabsal to immediately go to slavery, but it is. I mean, this show. Guys, this is what you show up for, right?
Yeah.
Has this show been terrible so far today? I'm sorry. I feel like maybe this has all been bad.
I'm having fun.
I'm glad you are. I want like our audience to like this, and I'm worried now. I feel like I'm doing a bad job, and I'm sorry.
Why?
I don't know. I think that I'm supposed to just like I don't know.
Chat's having fun.
I want to get out of this, and
I don't talk about slavery.
I just feel like it's so hard to move on from shit because Chad is like a few seconds behind us, so we decide to move on,
and then we bring back. Yeah, no, I get it. We will do a book club on a book that doesn't have slavery at some point.
Probably not.
Yes. Well, we're gonna do. You want to do Percy Jackson, so.
Well, I'll do baby book clubs, yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Anyways, Kabsal is talking about jam, and Shallon's like, "Wow, I'm not really a scholar. I like being outside in the sunshine," and they flirt a lot. It's very flirtatious, like very.
It's weird to talk flirty. About Kabsal now because none of this matters.
I know.
Like, A, he's dead, and B, all of this flirty stuff was bullshit
Bruce.
Anyway.
Absolute bullshit. He does, though, is like, oh, yeah, how you use a soulcaster is you just tap the gem. And Shallon's like, this guy's a fucking idiot because I already tried that.
Yeah, honestly, true.
But yeah, she does decide that she's going to leave in 1 week.
And Clarence is leaving the room now.
Not for a week.
Arzu, thank you for that super chat. I judge a good book club by how hard it is for me to keep up with chat. It's hard today, so good job. Oh, great. I just want this to be fun, and I don't know that this has been fun. I feel like I just am complaining. And maybe I'm just reading too many YouTube comments again, and I'm like in my head about it. Because that might be the case. You know what I mean? Ernest, I'll thank you for that super chat. You're good. Keep it up. Okay, we'll keep it up. But yeah, so Kabsal does reveal that his original plan was to have Shallon steal the Soulcaster, but I don't know. It obviously doesn't go anywhere. But we'll get to Kabsal's death eventually. Chapter 43, The Wretch. Kaladin is a sad boy. John and Coleman, thank you for that super chat. 2 things that do not exist in my homebrew D&D: slavery and grape culture. Workers are still taken advantage of, but grape is universally reviled. Yeah. Because you can't role play it. You know what I mean? Here's the thing. You can't, there's just no way to role play it and have people at the table feel good, right? It's really hard to not, for a DM to run any of that shit and not, like, especially if you're doing it like an actual play. Like, if you're doing it at home with your closest friends and you guys have a good vibe and you know you can get through it together, I think it's one thing. For us, because our D&D's filmed, like, if I were to cover that stuff, there's just simply no way that anyone would be good about it. Anyway, The Wretch. We meet Bright Lord Matal and his wife Hashal. Oh my god, it's Hashal and Matal. This is who those fuckers are.
What?
In the Fuck, Marry, Kill, they were like, would you do Hashal and Matal?
Yeah.
It's the Light Eyes people that showed up, who are the new Lamerals.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah. Okay.
Giant Coleman, thank you for that super chat. Especially because I'm a very privileged white male. Yeah. Don't roleplay slavery in D&D if you're white. It never looks good.
Yeah.
Shin, thank you for the affiliate anniversary wishes over on Twitch. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the new Bright Lord shows up. He's an ass, maybe. He's also maybe a mute. His wife kind of runs his shit, which is interesting. The doors aren't sticky.
I mean, he can't read. So.
The carpet has shifted over and it's in the way of the door now.
Yeah.
We need to fix the carpet in this room. That's all it is. The rug. So Hashal is like running shit now, and she's basically like, we need to be more effective. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to have the same people do the same jobs every day. And so Bridge 4 is now permanently on chasm duty. Which, honestly, this might be controversial.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a good idea.
Well, yeah.
I'm not saying that it is like a moral right.
Well, no.
But from a military perspective, Blue, thank you for subscribing over on Twitch.
Blue, thank you.
This is a actually good idea from Hashel.
Not really, because you lose fucking half your bridge crews every time, so it doesn't actually matter. If they were the same people that were alive week to week, then yes.
But like some of them keep surviving.
Kaladin.
Shin, thank you for gifting 10 memberships over on YouTube.
Shin,
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Can I explain why I think it's a good idea?
Yeah, sure.
All of the jobs that they're doing away from the labor camp involve them kind of having to find shit, whether it's like rock gathering or chasm duty. And so by rotating them around, you're basically putting this bridge crew and you're like, okay, go to this place that's been picked over by these other people, but you don't know what's been picked over because you weren't the ones doing it. So you have to spend the first hour or 2 hours of the day trying to figure out what the fuck is where you're at.
That's what I'm saying.
And ultimately getting to it. Whereas, I'm so close to being done, I promise. The chasm duty is like, Bridge 4 now is going to learn the chasm and be better at chasm duty. Mm-hmm. And yes, some of them are going to die, but then they'll be replenished, and the people who don't die will pass on the knowledge of what they've been doing in the chasms to the next group. And so like they're going to be more effective at chasm duty because you're doing it regularly and not like coming back 10 days later and hoping to know what the fuck is going on there.
So I think Bridge 4 is the exception here. But the other bridge crews don't even talk to one another. They are depressed and they lie around and they sleep and they work and they do absolutely nothing. They don't even know one another's names. And half of them die every run. And so the people like collecting rocks, they're going to go collect rocks again with a whole like half another bridge crew the next time.
Yeah.
So half the people aren't going to know where they searched before, and the half that was there before aren't even going to tell them because they don't talk to one another.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, if the bridge crews were the same, like, if they were all like Bridge 4, 100%. Absolutely makes sense. But because the bridge crews die every time and do not interact, like, the people do not interact except for Bridge 4 with one another, like,
yeah.
Like, it that just kind of undercuts the efficiency of it.
Akut, thank you for subscribing over on Twitch.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. I hear what you're saying. I disagree. I think that enough people will survive, and even non-verbally, I think the communication will get through. I think that you'll have more efficient work done. People are calling this busy work. This isn't really busy work. This is very important work they're all doing. This isn't just like time-wasting work. Not really. The rocks are literally their food. So if you're not collecting the rocks, you're not the entire camp isn't eating. Like all of these jobs that they're doing are vitally important to the like.
But they also do
ongoing war
say
effort.
Explicitly it's to keep them busy.
Yeah, but it's some of the
both.
stuff, especially
It's
like
both.
working in the forge, but like getting the weapons and stuff back from chasm duty is not pointless.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm saying. It's not that it's not busy work. It's just not pointless.
Yeah.
There is a there's a lot to be gained from them doing this work.
Yeah, they're not taking water from one bucket and putting it into another bucket. You know what I mean? Yeah.
There is a tactical advantage to the work that they are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Underscore, I think. Thank you for that super chat. Work variety versus task specificity is a debated topic in productivity outcomes in business. We should go to business school.
Well, I think that it depends on your business, right? Like, I think that there are certain manual labor jobs where muscle memory is more productive than variety, right? Like, you see some people who work like factory floor jobs, and not, when they're paid well in their union jobs and those people are taken care of, who are literally doing the same physical motion all day long. Not great for, carpal tunnel, but they become very good at that motion. And so you're able to do that in a way where, like, being a YouTuber, if I were to make the exact same video every day, it would actually be bad for the company. And so it's sort of a different, and some people would say that all my videos are the same, but those people don't watch the variety of content we make.
Sure, yeah.
There is something to be said for, like, muscle memory and intelligence, right?
Yeah. Jabroni, thank you for that super chat. I only give money if I'm enjoying something, so this shows you're doing good.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Crushed it. It's going straight to the camera.
Epic says... Yeah, we need to buy a new camera. Epic says bricklayers are bricklayers. They aren't going to start doing the plumbing. I like that analogy. I think that is more what I'm saying about this being a good idea about the permanent chasm duty. Mm-hmm. It also, story-wise, allows Kaladin to have some agency finally, which is great. Because god damn it, do I need someone in this book other than Dalinar to have agency? Because Dalinar has been gone for 300 pages.
Yeah. Yeah, Kaladin's depresso espresso for this chapter. He's like didn't fight, but what would be the point? Like people just get hurt. Like what's the literally what is the point of any of it? And so he's sad.
And everyone's trying to cheer him up. Everyone's coming over to him one at a time, and he's like, "Just leave me the fuck alone."
Yeah, and then he's like, "You know what? They're determined for us to die, and so we're going to do what I've never been able to do before. We're going to escape. Mm-hmm. It's going to be harder than any other time I've tried it, but we're going to maybe do it. It's probably not going to happen, but we're going to try."
Yeah. And so he finds a spear, and he's like, "I'm going to teach you guys how to fight." And everyone like one at a time does the like captain, my captain step up. And then Rock is like, "Except me. I
cook.
Am a second son, and so
no, he's a third son."
I was confused about this because he describes the 4 sons.
Yeah, and
right?
He says 1 and 2 are cooks, 3 is tradesman, 4 is soldier, and that he's the third son.
But so why is he cooking?
Because he he should have been 4th son because he.
No, 4th son is warrior.
No, he went to go fight.
No, he went as a cook. Okay.
He went as a cook.
So there's 4 sons. The first 2 handle food. Third one is a craftsperson, and then 4th son is the warrior, right?
Maybe he's a barber.
But he is the 3rd son, but he cooks food, which is a first, second son thing. So did one of his older brothers die? 1 and 2 are farmers.
Well, no, he says cooks. I swear to God, he says cooks.
That's confusing. Because, like, you can farm and cook.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I also thought that was strange.
Yeah, I wanted to bring it up because I felt like he said, like, make food.
Yeah.
And I was like, but you're a cook. That's literally, unless, like, making food is different than, like, making food.
What?
That wasn't great.
What?
That wasn't my finest moment.
What? I don't know. Yeah.
All right. So he says, wait, where is it?
I don't know.
Oh, wait, does he explain this in another chapter? Yeah, he does.
What?
Rock says that it's beneath him in one chapter, and then he explains in another chapter, so I'm not going to be able to find it. And then we get... Then we get a image, guys, pictures. And this image has a lot of writing on it. This was read in the audiobook to me, and I was wildly confused by what the fuck was going on.
You're like, what is this?
The history of man starts with the expulsion, the loss of the Tranquiline Halls. This feels very Norse. You know what I mean?
Valhalla.
Then 2 was the Desolations, the war against the Voidbringers. I think we saw that at the beginning of the book. Then Aharitiam. The Last Desolation, the defeat of the Voidbringers.
Yeah.
Aharitiam. And then the
reach around. The Renaissance. The Rearians.
I'm so sorry. Brandon Sanderson, I cannot fucking read these words. I'm showing them. Sorry to the
podcast.
A Harriet team. Great. So it's a Harriet team. And then the Recreants? Is that a C?
The Rearan.
No, because that's an A. So that's got to be a C, right? The Recreants.
Sure.
The Recreant. Yeah, that's a fucking
the
C.
The Recreants. Okay.
Yeah, this, wow. The Fall of the Knights Radiant.
Uh-huh.
Which happened after the defeat of the Voidbringers, which is weird because I thought they happened at the same time. And then the final part was the hierarchy.
The the religious thing. The
I mean, I'm dyslexic, but I don't think this one's my fault. The failure of Vorinism.
Yeah.
Which is weird because isn't Vorinism still the main
Yeah, but remember they tried to take over like complete power, and it's like a really like they don't talk about it because they fucked up kind of deal. Yeah. They like thought they had divine prophecies and visions and shit, and then they were like, just kidding, that's a lie to try and control the populace. But Herocracy. Yes.
The her-eocracy. This isn't history. This is herstory.
If you've never seen Six, a musical, that makes no sense.
Listen up, let me tell you a story. All right. Then we get to the next chapter. The next chapter being The Weeping.
Which is just rain.
No, it's the Hunger Games. Wait, when did Way of Kings come out again?
You mean The Reaping?
Okay. Way of Kings came out in... What year did Way of Kings come out? 2010.
10?
Brandon Sanderson straight up rips off the fucking Hunger Games here.
What do you mean?
Okay. The Hunger Games comes out in 2008.
Uh-huh.
It has a scene called The Reaping, where Katniss Everdeen's younger sister gets...
Yeah, The Reaping is what is the pulling of the names.
Yes. And then Katniss Everdeen volunteers as tribute, right?
Uh-huh.
2 years later, Brandon Sanderson releases a book where in a chapter called The Weeping, Kaladin's younger brother gets chosen to go to fucking war, and he volunteers as tribute to go. It's obviously slightly different, but Brando, Sando, you can't name the chapter The Weeping and then fucking rip off The Reaping and not expect me to notice.
I didn't notice. I don't read chapter titles, though. Oh my god. No.
You're telling me that Brandon Sanderson didn't know about the most popular YA book in the world at the time?
No, probably not.
Come on, Brandy. Brandy.
Couldn't be.
You can't call it The Weeping and have it rhyme with The Reaping and then just fucking rip off the events of The Reaping. Obviously changed slightly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, I totally know that The Weeping is the weather event. I just was like, reading this, I was like, oh, this is the Hunger Games. This must have come out before the Hunger Games. And then I was like, no, it's 2 years later?
Yeah. No, that's very funny.
The Hunger Games but make it dudes.
No, I didn't connect the Reaping and the Weeping. That was very funny.
And people are like, well, Hunger Games didn't invent the draft lottery. I know that. I'm just saying that it's so funny to me that the Hunger Games and this, it's just that it's called The Weeping and the Reaping. And that it's the rhyme of that makes it seem like this is more intentionally.
Yeah, when it's like really not. I'm sure he named the weather pattern like without thinking of the Hunger Games.
Oh, I'm so kidding. I don't think. Yeah. Yeah. This is also
it's just funny.
This is also like not an original scene. You know what I mean? Like my sibling has to go to war, so I'm going with them thing. That's not Brandon Sanderson is not the first author in history to come up with that.
Yeah.
So and neither was fucking
Suzanne
Collins when she wrote The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
It's just so funny to me that it's the weeping and the reaping.
Yeah.
That to me is like this weird connection between two books.
Yeah.
No,
that's fair. So we get to the weeping, which is a weather pattern. So when I
liked it. I liked
Kaladin,
weeping. I liked the concept of it. It was
cool.
cool.
It was great. When Kaladin was like, the seasons are all over the place with different lengths and different orders and stuff. I was like, how the fuck do you know when the year is over? It's because you get rain for a few weeks, and that's how you know.
I get rain.
Yeah, that's how you know.
It's 4 weeks of.
It's like living in London.
I was gonna say Vancouver, but yeah.
I mean, same thing. Kaladin gets seasonal depression. He does not like the rain. He misses the sun. I understand.
He needs a UV lamp. My sister got one. Massively helps her out.
I like rain. But in the winter. In the winter when the days are shorter, I hate everything.
Johnny Coleman, thank you for that super chat.
Thank
Disney's
you.
Mulan did it first, right?
The conscription?
I mean, Disney's Mulan has a version of it, but
yeah.
I wouldn't say that that's similar.
I don't know if it's first. Well, her dad is supposed to go to war, and she goes in his place. The idea, yeah, but I don't think that's the first.
No, I mean like the first. I mean Mulan.
It's a joke.
Oh, I was like, Mulan isn't even. Disney's Mulan isn't even the first story of Mulan. Like Mulan,
What do you mean?
Mulan. You guys,
Disney did it first.
You guys know Mulan predates Disney, right? Mulan is not Mulan's not an original movie.
No, it's actually a historically accurate movie. There's a dragon called Mushu. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Dragons are extinct now, unfortunately.
I invented Mulan. Mulan does a version of it too, with her father.
Yeah. It's less a public volunteering.
Here's the problem with Disney's Mulan. Not the live action one. I've never seen that one. But with the animated Mulan, I don't remember anything about Mulan. The only thing I remember from that movie is how hot the guy is.
That's it?
Yeah, I obviously know all the songs by heart and I've seen it a million times, but when I really think about Mulan, I don't think about Mulan.
Okay, so
I think about her fucking boyfriend because he's the most attractive dude.
So what happens in Mulan? Okay, we're going to do
No. I know the plot of Mulan. I'm aware of the plot of Mulan. What I'm saying is the most important thing about Mulan is that man is so fucking dreamy. And I don't care about Mulan at all. I just want them to keep getting back to he's the
bisexual dream.
I will die by this. I will die on this hill. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. I'm blanking. It starts with an S, right? It's something.
Shin.
He is the most attractive Disney prince.
Prince? Yes. Hands down.
Yeah.
100%.
I would choose him over any other Disney prince.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely valid.
Except maybe the Beast when he's a beast. Human Beast sucks. Prince Andrew or whatever.
Yeah. Shang, thank you.
Shang.
Yeah.
Shang is the most attractive Disney prince.
Yeah.
Well, and Hercules. Shang and Hercules.
Hercules isn't a prince. He's a demigod.
But Shang also isn't a prince, so
Okay.
So Shang and Hercules are the two bisexual dream men for me.
Yeah,
and they're both animated.
Yeah.
So that says a lot about me as a person. Anyway, let's get back into the Way of Kings.
There was a super chat.
Oh, was there? L Gage, thank you for that super chat. Actually, Way of Kings started as a Hunger Games fanfic true story.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, I totally see it.
The Shattered Plains was going to be the arena, but he adapted it, so it didn't seem as...
Sure. Kaladin was actually really good with a bow at one point instead of a spear. Yeah.
And Bryce is like, Hercules, really? Have you seen that man shirtless?
Honestly, here. If you gave me a choice in Hercules, I would pick Meg over Hercules. I'm sorry.
No, I want them both.
Yeah, ideally.
Although I want them both. I don't need Mulan. I just want Shang.
Yeah.
Mulan can go live her life. I don't give a shit. Go be happy.
Oh my god.
I just want your boyfriend. All right. Let's get into so the weeping happens. Basically, fucking Rashon is gonna marry Laurel.
Yeah, what a cunt.
And Amaram shows up for the first time, and Amaram is like, I need people to volunteer, and a couple do, and he's like, that's not enough. And he's like, Rashon, pick 4 more. And I was like, how many towns are you going to that you're picking up like 6 kids at a time to replenish your army?
I mean, there's not that many people in this town.
I know, it just seems like a really ineffective recruiting strategy.
I think he was visiting his cousin.
Yeah, and I guess he got 6 kids on the way. I'm just I feel like at some point we're going to learn that there is like magical fertility in Alethkar.
Why?
Because how the fuck are you replenishing all of these armies with people constantly?
Well, okay, to be fair, the border disputes are between a couple hundred people at most.
Yeah. And also you're running a 6-year-long never-ending war that churns through bodies. Like, just
they're
from a population
perspective.
No, of course they are. Because, like, how the fuck are you running a war that is this destructive to human life? And replenishing it when you're going to towns and being like, I need 6 people. You know what I mean? Like, all of these wars are very destructive. And also, on top of that, like, sometimes you just lose people to like the storms that come constantly that murder people. You know what I mean? Like it's a wildly dangerous world, and I just keep expecting this book to be like, and most women are able to pump out a kid every like 4 weeks.
Jesus Christ.
Although no, that actually doesn't make sense, because all of these people would have to have been born long before the war started.
Because it's only been 6 years. Yeah.
But based on how deadly the borders, we only see one border skirmish, right? And it is a massacre.
Because of a shard bearer running through and just murking everybody.
No, I'm talking about the people get taken out by the arrows behind Kaladin's forces, right? Kaladin runs forward, and then Sen in that opening chapter is like, and the arrows fall on, and like Kaladin's got, what, like 26 people in his battalion? So maybe there's only 10 squad leaders in that army?
Maybe.
But they get fucking murked.
Well,
Also,
really
why is a shard bearer fighting in like a border skirmish? I have so many questions.
That's the question.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna, because no one knows who he is. Like, it's a whole thing. But yeah, anyways, Tien unfortunately gets drafted, and Kaladin goes with him. Giving up his dream to become a surgeon is very sad, because Kaladin thinks, like, they think that they're like winning. It sucks. Rashon is a fucking piece of shit. You know what's crazy? If Lirin had just killed Rashon on that surgical table, Tien would be alive and Cal would be a surgeon.
Yeah, but then Lirin would be a murderer.
Yeah, there are worse things.
I mean,
I don't know about that.
I don't know. You seem to be pretty ride and die for Yasna.
Oh, I love her as a character, but like I said last week, I do think that morally she's in the wrong.
Uh-huh.
I just think that there are different distinctions and different like levels to that conversation.
Yeah, okay. Chapter 45, Shadesmar. We reacted to this one.
We did. You can go watch it.
I thought it was going to be a mildly interesting chapter, and then it is not mild. Shalyn basically has a bunch of conversations. They're actually really interesting. We're not going to get into all the details of them now, because I don't want to just recap the book, read the chapter. But she basically is just having conversations and reading books about Voidbringers.
They're trying to figure out what exactly Yasna is trying to figure out.
We see her Gavilar. We get some like backstory on Gavilar's initial meetings with the Parshendi that I think that on a reread are really cool. And right now I'm like, sure, yeah, he met them.
Well, it's his like sudden shift in personality and interest in not having any like scholarly pursuits or ideas, and suddenly is like really interested in this new group of people that they found.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
I don't go watch the reactions right now. I'm just saying that, like, you know.
It's for bingo.
Oh. There's been like 40 gifted subs. A lot of you can go watch them.
Thank you for those gifted subs.
But
members.
Yeah, so Shalyn is this show would be fucking crazy. Shalyn and Yasna are like studying, and Shalyn is like, Shalyn's asking Yasna about the Voidbringer. She doesn't really have any great answers. And so Shalyn's like, I'm going to go find out for myself. Yasna, I'm going to go find this book. And Yasna's like, I can go get it for you. And she's like, no. I need to learn how to use this system. So I'm going to go find this book. And then she fucks off for 2 hours.
Hey, it's a really big library. There's 270,000 books in it.
But even Kabsal's like,
yeah.
Well, obviously,
it's like, that's a bad lie.
You're not even in the right. You're not even close to the right place in this fucking library. Like,
yeah. No, 100%.
If I disappeared for 2 hours
to find a book,
you would divorce me. You'd be like, "Oh, you're a moron."
No. I just assume you got distracted by the D&D books.
That's probably what happened.
So Kabsal finds her, they go back up, and Kabsal's like, oh, she's like, hey, Kabsal, I'm leaving tomorrow, by the way. And he's like, can you draw me? And she's like, oh my gosh, how have I never drawn you before? That's so crazy. So
then Klaus is like immediately like, she's going to draw some weird shit.
Yeah, and then she doesn't. She doesn't.
She draws a totally normal
picture.
Image of him, like, there. No, I think the second image is of him.
No. The first one where he holds it. He holds it the whole time. She's like, this is the most awkward thing I've ever done in my entire life.
She just doesn't tell him.
Yeah. And then he's like, okay, can you do one of us together?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, yeah, sure, just hold this mirror beside you as a reference. And I was like, yeah, okay. Sure. And then she draws some weird shit, okay? The weird thingies with the symbol heads. Which, is that voidish? I'm assuming those symbols are voidish, but I don't actually know.
No fucking clue.
No idea.
I don't know what's going on at all. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah. So she gets freaked out. She's like, oh my god, I made a mistake. And she runs away.
Mm-hmm.
And then she, like, while she's taking the elevator down, she, like, snapshots. Freeze frame, da 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 da. What? You don't know that song?
No, what the fuck was that?
Never heard the song Freeze Frame?
But then you started singing like DuckTales.
Da 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 da. Freeze frame, da da da. Yeah, that's like the. Isn't that?
I've never in my life heard what you were singing right now.
We did it in Youth Singers. I don't know. It was like 15 years ago.
Da na 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 na. What is that? That's not DuckTales.
Freeze frame.
Da na na na. Wow.
You know that song.
Okay. Ernest, I'll thank you for that super chat. This was a chapter that Shalyn became the most interesting character. I don't particularly like.
I don't like her story. Oh,
I don't like her story is fascinating, but the character isn't for me. I agree.
Right.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm in a similar boat where I'm like I really want to know what the fuck's going on. I just don't feel like we're gonna get answers for a long time.
Yeah. So yeah, she takes a freeze frame and then draws the thingies like staring at her, and she's like, oh my god, and so she runs away, and then she turns around, she does another freeze frame, and then she starts drawing, and she's like, oh my god, they're chasing me.
Mm-hmm.
And so she runs to her rooms and locks the doors like she thinks that that's gonna do anything. And then she's like sitting on her bed, and she draws them all standing around her, like reaching towards her. She freaks the fuck out, and then suddenly she gets like booped to
the cognitive realm.
Shadesmar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She goes to the cognitive realm.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. It's called Shadesmar.
Yeah. But we learn in the interludes that Shadesmar is the name of the cognitive realm, which is different from the physical realm.
Yeah.
I'm assuming?
Yes.
And
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they don't know what she is.
So
oh, chat, I need to ask you a question. What character do we see have a dark sphere that seems to like glow dark? I know it's mentioned earlier in the book. There's like a weird sphere that somebody has.
Isn't it Szeth's ownership sphere thing? Gavilar.
How the fuck does he...
He's been to the cognitive realm.
Okay. Gavilar gave it to Szeth. Right. Okay. I knew we had seen one of these before. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Still don't know how that ties in. No idea. No clue. Really cool. Yeah, it's a weird place. It's like all glass spheres. It's like a dark sun. It's like a void kind of thingy majiggy. It's like not a good time. Shalyn's freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
They're like, what are you? And she's like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And then she suddenly changes a goblet into blood.
Yeah.
She gets like booped back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity.
Oh, there goes Rabbity Choke. He's so mad, but he won't give up that easy.
And so I have a question for chat.
Yep.
Why is the blood of the goblet the same color as Shallan's blood?
I have the answer to that.
Oh.
Yeah, Shallan's super sheltered and has never seen non-human blood.
But blood is one of the 10 essences. Okay. Yeah. It's one of the 10 essences. And does that mean it changes into the blood as she sees it or blood as it is?
She's not fully in control of her powers, but she still wouldn't be able to change it into something she's not aware of, I don't think.
Well, but what? Okay, but she's also of mixed races. So why is her blood red?
Because she's not of mixed species?
But there are different peoples that have different colors of blood, and she's the
other species,
but also
have...
part Yakaved, right?
Yeah, but that's like saying that she's half Canadian and half American. No.
There's people who have purple blood. There's people who have orange blood. There's people who have red blood. It's in the prologue. It's in there's literally different colored blood spattered everywhere because different people have different.
Yeah, the Parshmen have a different color of blood. But but all the humans have red blood.
No, who has the purple one?
Chat and I are all confused. The great shells have different colored blood.
Okay.
Yeah. The Parshendi have a different color of blood.
Okay.
Yeah, all humans have red blood. Parsh have different colored blood, and then great shells have different colored blood.
Oh, there are people with blue skin. Right, okay. Judah, thank you for that super chat.
Grimace?
No, okay.
I was not with you for a second there.
I definitely thought that there was more variety among the different people, but
maybe horn eaters would have a different color of blood, but I don't know. We haven't seen Rock bleed, so I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. The New York Mets. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
So then there's blood everywhere, and it's creeping towards the door, and she's like, fuck. She's going to know that I used her soul caster, and so she takes a piece of the glass that didn't transform. Wait. Where does the glass come? She doesn't change the goblet. She changes the spheres in the goblet into blood, right? I don't know. There's glass from something else.
There's a pitcher.
The glass from the pitcher.
The pitcher,
right.
Yes.
She takes the, and trigger warning for suicide, because we're going to have to talk about it for the rest of the book club today. She opens her arm with the glass 13 Reasons Why style.
Gosh, wow.
Sorry.
Yeah, because she doesn't want Yasna to know that she has a soul caster, so it makes it look like she cut herself. She's like, no, it was totally an accident, but nobody believes her because
Because it wasn't?
Yeah, why would you? So that's bad. Chapter 46.
The Child of Tanavast.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. You ready for this?
So Kaladin is God, and he basically pulls a Dalinar.
No, Kaladin becomes the High Storm.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But it's actually just a cutscene from a video game that zooms in on specific characters. Because Szeth isn't outside.
Yeah.
Maybe he becomes the precursor to the High Storm. I don't know. This was a lot. I'm not going to lie. Kaladin having a dream where he sees Szeth. No, because Dalinar is going to the past.
Uh-huh.
Kaladin's not going to the past. Kaladin is watching the present.
Okay. Yeah,
so
maybe.
Okay. So now Kaladin... I don't even know how to fucking talk about this. Kaladin watches the world.
Kaladin becomes a leaf on the wind.
Don't do that. It's so sad. You can't, that why would you bring that up?
Winds in the east, there's a mist coming in, like something is brewing about to begin.
What are you referencing now?
Mary Poppins?
I know, but you started with Serenity and now you're on Mary Poppins. What are we doing?
Tangents, babe. That's why the people are here.
You can't just bring up Watch Dying like that and expect me to be okay. fuck.
Oh,
Okay. Kaladin is riding the high storm, looking at shit around the world. We zoom in on Zeth, son Valanon, who's maybe murdering a king. And then he gets to the Western Ocean where he meets God.
Yeah. God is like, sup, the devil's in charge, and he's coming.
And he says that Kaladin is the child of Tanavast.
Yeah,
which implies to me that, much like Genghis Khan, Tanavast was left alone on Roshar when the other heralds fucked off.
Yeah.
And Tanavast fucked everybody. Tanavast went through Roshar and fucking laid seed in wombs from fucking coast to coast.
Why? Why do you think that?
Because
Kaladin might be the only one.
No. Tanavast fucked everybody. Tanavast was like, oh, yeah, you guys are going to leave me alone? I am going to lay pipe on bitches nationwide. And then I'm going to go to the next nation and I'm going to do it again.
Oh, God. Linus, thank you for that super chat. Beyond evil. Okay. We can just stick with, like, regular evil.
Ilmavavi says the herald that got left behind is Talonel. Oh, fuck.
Wait, really?
Never mind. My ideas. I thought it was Tanavast.
It was the same.
I thought he was the child of the one that got left behind, but apparently I'm wrong.
Fuck. All right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. I literally thought they were the same as well.
Guys, I can't remember. Guys, can I be fucking honest? There's too much in this book. I can't keep track of
No,
fucking...
don't be honest.
I can't keep track of
Chat doesn't
fucking
like that.
any of it. This whole time I was like, oh, that's the guy. Like,
Oh yeah, I was fully
Brandon.
like, oh, he's a child of one of the heralds.
Brandon, other people don't have 300 people sitting in chat explaining shit to them who've read the book 10 times. How am I...
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we were on the same page.
Then Kaladin's the son of Tanavast. I don't know who the fuck Tanavast is then. Who the fuck's Tanavast? All right, it doesn't matter, I guess. And he's also the child of honor, which makes me think that I am 1,000% correct.
About Syl?
That Syl is an honor spren.
Yeah.
I am 10,000% correct.
What was the thing later on that we read about? We reacted about. It said there was like spren. What was the?
She's a light singer.
Oh, something like that. Yeah. There's like specifically kinds of spren.
Right, light singer. Is that what the words were?
I think.
Sigzil's a world singer.
Yes, the world singers are people who go around. They talk about other places. There was a fucking word, and we were reacting. I didn't write it down. Dawn singer.
Dawn singer.
Yes.
God, this book has too many fucking
too many
things
words.
in it. There's too. I'm done. I quit. I can't keep going. There's too many things.
Imagine quitting here. God damn. Yeah. Okay.
Weren't you just 1,000% confident that Talon and Tanavast were the same person, dude? I don't know who any of these fucking people are. I barely know the fucking people in Bridge 4 at this point.
Right. Yeah.
There's too many singers bringers in this book. I agree with that. I don't know what any of it, and I don't have context for any of them. They're all just like nonsense words at this point.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, Odium is like the devil, I think.
Sure.
Yeah, it's bad. It seems bad. Odium is in charge, but he's also coming.
That's what she said.
I did it. It's what God said.
That's usually the dom-sub relationship. Someone's in charge and coming.
Yeah.
Have you seen
Odium
50
is in
Shades
charge
of Grey?
And he's coming. Good for Odium. Honestly,
so
good for
Odium
him.
is doming the planet.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. And then he wakes up. Yeah, Odium both reigns and is coming. This was very confusing. He's coming and he reigns.
Yeah.
At the same time?
Same time, I guess.
All right.
He's very capable.
All right.
He's a multitasker, okay?
And then he wakes up, and Kaladin is like near the door. He's being held down by all of his boys, and they're like, "Kaladin, what the fuck, dude? You were trying to open the door in the middle of a storm." And Kaladin's like, "That's crazy."
Yeah, that's a weird thing to do.
But the storm's almost over, so boys, it is time for our homoerotic shower montage.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is the part where like something fun starts to play, and the boys go out and they frolic. And they rub each other's back.
Men. Hallelujah.
And they go out. Rock is just like sexually shaving the men one at a time.
Why
it's very
is it
sensual.
I don't think a razor
This would be a scene in a Top Gun movie. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
Highway to the Danger Zone starts playing, and they start playing beach volleyball. Mr. Kite is absolutely correct.
Oh my god.
They're all just fucking like rubbing each other in the water.
Here's the soap. Yeah.
Don't drop it. Or do.
I don't know. Do what you want. You're gonna die soon, so live a little, I guess.
So Rock is like, yeah, Sigzil's a world singer. And Sigzil, like, runs away. He's like, no!
He runs away and then immediately...
Don't remind me of my past!
And then immediately goes to tell some guy that he can tell him about his heritage.
Yeah, but he does it in a way where he's like one of those people online that's like, oh yeah, I can tell from your cheekbones that you're Nigerian or something like that. And you're like, I don't think that's an exact science.
Yeah, you have purple eyes, and purple eyes come from this place, I guess.
But it's a Thursday, and so on Thursday we get new people.
New people.
And Bridge 4 only gets one new person.
Which is a Parshman, who they name Shen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because... it's a super distinctive name that I'm definitely going to remember when there's already a Sen and a whatever, doesn't matter.
Scar and a Sil and a Sigzil
and then Kaladin's like, I need to go for a walk. And guess who he runs into?
Well, he asks Sil, he's like, do you know what the fuck odium is? And Sil goes, and fucking runs away.
Yeah. She like goes, hides in the gutters of a house?
Yeah.
This book is so allergic to giving us any answers about fucking anything that when characters who might have a clue are asked about something, they constantly run away. Like
they
twice in like 10 pages, lore is brought up, and the character it's brought up about flees the scene rather than tell us fucking anything. This book has no plot. There's no plot. This book is a fucking standstill of bullshit. And it's great.
Hey.
It's really good.
Hey, Kaladin...
But like, fuck off.
Kaladin meets Adolin here. That's progress.
No!
Yeah!
They don't actually meet.
He
literally gets fucking... He takes his money and runs away. Rather than move the plot forward an inch. They meet and run away from each other again. This whole book is people running away from the fucking plot so that I don't get to learn anything. And I just have to be like, I don't know what the world slight singers of the bullshit are. Bring me plot, not worlds.
So Adolin saves a prostitute from being beat up in the middle of the street. And Kaladin is like, oh, interesting. Maybe light eyes can be good? No, that can't be. He has to have some ulterior motive. Adolin is like, oh, Bridge Boy, take a message for me. Here's some money, and then leaves. And Kaladin's like, haha, joke's on you. I'm going to take your money, and I'm going to not do what you asked.
Yeah.
Fuck you. So that's fun. I definitely thought Adolin was there to do, like, Bridgman research. So at this moment, I was like, oh my god, they're gonna meet. Finally, they're gonna, like, talk about the bridge stuff. I literally thought that this moment was happening, and then it didn't, and I was like...
Oh, I thought the plot was gonna move forward. And then...
it didn't.
We just had more evidence that Kaladin doesn't like light eyes. And I was like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I fucking know that.
Yeah.
This was the biggest
It was hot,
tease.
though, you know?
It was
He's like, hey, Bridge Boy...
Yeah.
Maybe
Bridge Man?
Maybe Adolin...
I don't know, Adolin. Maybe don't be so fucking condescending.
Maybe Adolin can't pick a woman because he's gay. Like, he's like...
I don't know. I think he's fucking all of them.
Yeah, but gay people fuck women.
That's true.
You know? I'm just saying.
That's... You know what? Facts.
I think Adolin and Kaladin are the ship that I want. And the ship that we deserve.
Oh, if they end up together, I'd be very happy.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's like an upstairs, downstairs, like enemies to lovers trope where Kaladin has to get over his like hatred of light eyes and Adolin has to like end racism because he realizes that racism is bad and then they become gay lovers, I'm here for it. Honestly would be perfect.
Yeah, that is the ideal ending for me actually.
Yeah. What else could I want?
Yeah.
There's a lot of fanfic of that for sure. Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe I'll just start reading Way of Kings fanfics because those probably have plots.
Don't do that yet because spoilers.
Please don't check Archive of Our Own. I won't yet.
Yet.
There's no straight explanation for Bridge Boy. That's a good point.
Judah makes a great point with that super chat. Thank you.
Yeah.
Johnny Coleman, thank you for the super chat. Aren't closeted gay men great lovers for women?
I don't know. I had sex with a closeted lesbian, and it was terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like...
And then I had sex with an out lesbian, and that was also terrible.
I feel like some gay men having sex with women are more successful than others. You know?
Yeah, but like half the gay men I know are terrified of vaginas.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me.
Yeah. They're like, what is that void?
Mm-hmm.
I refuse.
And straight men are terrified of penises. And I'm over here like, they're all great.
Yeah. Aren't we lucky?
God damn it.
Oh my god.
So then, Kaladin fucks off. Chapter 47, Storm Blessings. We actually also reacted to this one. This is where we start to get into... Oh, wait, did we skip over... Wait. Oh my god, we fucking skipped over it, because I thought it happened in the hospital, but it doesn't. We have to rewind. Fucking rewind goddamn everything, because I got the order wrong. Chapter 45, Shadesmar. Shalyn is a fucking shard bearer!
Oh, yeah.
We got so caught up in the cognitive realm. Shalyn's a fucking shard bearer!
Yeah. We got there. I forgot.
Guys! Shalyn is a fucking shard bearer.
It doesn't matter.
And
Not
is
significant.
complaining about money because she's fucking dumb. You have a shard blade.
Well...
You have a shard blade. Shalyn, you have a solution to all of your problems. It's the shard blade. You're a shard bearer. Why is the book happening? You can...
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought she summoned it in the hotel in the hotel room.
In the hotel.
At the Marriott.
When she is threatened, she literally starts counting heartbeats.
Yeah.
To get her shard blade. And apparently, yeah, she needs the soulcaster for money.
It might be something else, like a shard fork.
It's a shard spork.
Why is TMI Nerdy Sex Life on the bingo card? Guys, what is the bingo?
Because we're very consistent.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I have no shame.
You literally were like, I had sex with a lesbian and it was bad. That's pretty intimate information.
Yeah.
She wanted to make sure she was a lesbian. That's the context.
No.
I thought that was.
No, her God, this is so much information. Her partner was transitioning. And so she was like, and they were like on a break because she was like, I'm a lesbian. I don't know if I can have sex with a man. So we're on a break. Let's have sex so I can see if I hate it.
Yeah.
And then we had sex. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure you're a lesbian. You didn't enjoy that at all. And then she went back to her partner and they're great.
Happy
anyway,
for him.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Deep lore. The point of this is you can solve all your problems.
Yeah.
You have a shard blade.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah, why doesn't she sell that? She's not a fighter. She can't use it.
I have no idea.
I am honestly even more confused now.
Yeah. You have, like, the solution to all of your problems.
Mm-hmm.
And then some.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming she can't sell it because she...
Stole it.
No, I'm assuming... Well, but, like... Nobody thinks that her dad had a shard blade.
Yeah, we haven't
Otherwise,
heard
her brothers
any
would have been
rumors.
like, where's the shard blade?
Yeah, we haven't heard any rumors about it.
And so I don't understand this at all. It's cool.
Yeah,
but it implies that she killed her dad.
If it's her dad's shard blade. But yeah, that was my first initial thought because she says it was from her like darkest moment, like the worst thing that she ever did. Which maybe was kill her dad because it sounds like when he died, he was in a rage and there was like a problem. And so I think that she might have killed her dad and it so happens that her dad had a shard blade. Although would a shard blade appear if it hadn't been summoned when you killed the person who owned it?
I'm assuming they always appear immediately after you die.
I don't know.
Because otherwise the shard blade would be lost forever.
Yeah. Which maybe they can be, but I don't know.
I don't know. But anyway, I think that she killed her dad, which makes me like Shalyn less until we find out that her dad is worse.
Well, her dad is a fucking awful human being. He beats his sons. They are all traumatized.
Yeah.
He lies and cheats people, right? He was in league with some shady motherfuckers. He like basically locks Shallan away. He's a bad dude. I don't. He's a slave owner.
But most women in this world are locked away.
No, lots of women get to study. They have tutors. They get to experience life, and she's literally locked in a room with no one but herself, basically, because her dad is like, none of you are good enough to even look at my daughter.
Yeah.
Right, like.
Oh, Hannah's right. We saw Gavilar's blade appear after Zeth killed him.
Yeah, so So if her dad was a shard bearer and she killed him, maybe accidentally, right? Maybe like it does happen rarely where it's like you push someone, they fall the wrong way. Like something happens, something falls.
Yeah.
And what it feels like from the like things Shallan has thought about that happening is that he was in a rage, that he was like hurting her brothers, I think.
Or somebody.
They were all there. They were all present. He also might have murdered their oldest brother.
And their mom.
Yeah. So
I'm not fully judging Shallan right now for it, because I don't know that she even killed her dad. Like, we're assuming a bunch of shit. If she killed her dad, I hope that the reveal is that it was for a reason that I think is more morally just than Jasnah killing the people in the... You know what I mean? Like, I hope that I'm more on board with it than I am with Jasnah's killing.
Or, hear me out for a second. Shallan is able to come to the conclusion that Jasnah is morally wrong because she's been in the same or similar situation.
That would be great. I would be so much more on board for that.
Yeah.
But for me, like, liking Shallan moving forward, I would like to
we need some
be on board with her.
Yeah.
And so if she killed her dad, I hope that I'm on board with why.
Yeah.
And not just like, well, he was not a great dad.
He was a slaver.
He was a slaver. Actually, you know what?
He can die.
But did Shallan end the slavery when she killed him? Or did she just kill him and then does her family keep the slave?
She has no power right now.
Killing a slaver and then becoming the slaver is not...
Well, she's not. Her brothers would inherit. But right now, everyone thinks the dad is still alive. So that's...
so the slaves are probably still slaves. So I don't know that she's done the like moral work of making it better.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm so fascinated.
I desperately want to be on board with this character. Like, I desperately want to be fully on board with her.
Yeah.
I do. I really do. I'm just not yet. And I find it frustrating to not be. Because it seems like there's something really cool here. It's just like... It's like looking at a Rubik's Cube and not having any fucking clue where to start. And I don't know how to start getting invested in Shallan. And I want to, because, like...
I think this is the turning point for her, right?
But she's not in the next section.
That's
This
fair.
turning point happens, and then it's like, well, we'll get back to her in 300 more pages.
Yeah.
And that's where or not 300, because there's only 300 pages left in the book. But, like, Shallan's gone for, like, for all of part 4, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm like... At this point where I am really curious what happens. She's gone.
Because the only thing, so theorizing about this, Shallan has a shard blade.
Yes.
Which she can only get by taking it from another person who has either died.
No, we don't know that.
Or.
We don't actually know that, right? Because we don't know where the Parshendi are coming up with shard blades. So they could... There might be another way to get one. We don't know.
Okay, that's fair. However,
because they might come from the cognitive realm.
However...
Like, she might literally, like, have gotten it from a dream that she went to in the cognitive realm if this isn't the first time she's been there.
It's felt like it was her first time experiencing it, but yeah, it might, yeah.
She
may not remember.
The fact that we didn't know she was a shard bearer until 700 pages into the book, we know nothing about this girl.
I just mean, Scafandi, welcome back to the Nerd Table.
Thank you for joining.
I think that because getting the shard blade is related to the worst thing she has ever done.
Right, because she calls it her greatest sin.
Yeah,
it cannot. Good point.
It cannot be an accident. Okay.
No, that's a good point.
So it has to be not an accident, but her getting the shard blade can't be an accident, but whatever happened around that might be an accident. So it has to be something awful. Yeah. So either her killing somebody or being responsible for the death of somebody inadvertently.
Yes.
And the only people that she's allowed to see are her immediate family. And so it makes sense that it is her dad. I don't know who else it could be. And so I think I'm like locking in that theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she killed him too. And I think that the reason why I think that I will be on board with the reason why. Right?
Yeah.
I just really hope that I am, because I don't want to be like, ay.
Yeah. No, I'm just like by process of elimination and knowing that Shalyn cannot interact with other humans without her like father's approval and based on everything that's happened, I think it has to be her dad or no, that would be weird. I was like, maybe it was her older brother, but it would be weird to be from her perspective pretending she doesn't know what happened to him. So it can't be her older brother.
Yeah,
that would be weird. That would be weird. Yeah. It's gotta be her dad. I'm gonna lock it in.
All right. The reason why I remembered that the Shardblade is because Kaladin in Chapter 47 Stormlight, we did react to this. You go watch it if you got a gift today from one of our, or if you bought your own membership, or if you're a patron. They're all over there. I'm not gonna lie. The first like chunk of this chapter rehashed a lot of stuff that we already knew. But then when the rehashing of chapter 1 is done, the Shardbearer shows up.
Yeah.
And Kaladin is like, let's go kill a Shardbearer. And everybody dies around him, and it's very sad.
Yeah.
Sen gets trampled by a horse.
Yeah.
Fucking Dalit gets fucking sharded.
Yeah.
To death, and his eyes are burned out. It's tragic and awful. And Kaladin is like, fuck, this did not go well.
Yeah.
Let's
he's like, okay, I'm already in this fight, right?
Yeah.
They like enter the fight because the Shardbearer is trying to kill Amaram. And Kaladin's like, all right, I need to figure this out immediately. So there's the small eye slits are just big enough for something to stab through. And so Kaladin tries with his knife and is not successful because it's like a very specific angle thingy. But then he grabs a spearhead and is able to kill the Shardbearer. Which is fucking crazy. Because Amaram is like pinned under his horse. And Kaladin, he reaches for the Shardblade and he cannot take it. Because he hates the Light Eyes so much. And he literally has this conversation where he's like, I can't become... Like, I can't... I wouldn't want to... He has that conversation in the future. Right? Where
I don't know what you're talking... Yeah,
this
lost me.
This relates to the conversation that they had in the chasm,
okay.
Where Moash is like, oh yeah, I would change the system. I would do better. I would change things
up. And he says, I wouldn't.
Kaladin's like, no, I wouldn't want the...
If you could become a Light Eyes, would you?
Yeah, he's like, no, I wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want that. And we see that in this moment where he doesn't take the Shardblade because it would make him one of the Light Eyes, and he literally can't handle that. It makes him ill. It makes him sick to his
stomach. Well, and the important conversation there between him and Moash is that, is it Sigil that says, if you were in charge, people would still be abused. Like someone is still going to be oppressed by something.
Yes, exactly.
Which is, a nihilistic way of looking at it, but probably true.
Well, especially because if the power is taken by people who are searching for, like, revenge. Oh, well, if I was in charge, the Light Eyes would be the, like, lower people, and the Dark Eyes would be... Like, Moash isn't thinking of equality for all. He's thinking of revenge, which, like, I understand. He's a bridgeman. Like, I can sympathize with that train of thought.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So Kaladin uses the fact that he's not in full plate to dodge around the Shardbearer, the golden Shardbearer, but not Alakar. To dodge around, not take any blows here. And the Shardbearer cuts through the tip of his sphere, causing the tip to start spinning in the air. And so Kaladin throws a knife, and it dings off of the interior of the... it, like, rims like a basketball and then pops out. And Kaladin's like, fuck! And then he, like, leaps over a Shardblade, and as he's landing, he sees the tip of this spear point falling down, and he grabs it and he jams it right in the eye, killing a Shardbearer. And this moment is super cool. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
When it's animated, it's gonna look great.
And then he sits there and he's looking at the Shardblade, and they're like, take it, it's yours. And he doesn't, because that blade just killed all of his friends. And I get it.
Yep.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, by not taking it means that Amaram takes it and kills the remainder of his men because he can't have any witnesses, and he brands Kaladin a slave Because he can't have anyone telling the story that Amaram didn't actually kill the guy.
Because honor demands that he leave Kaladin alive first. Because Kaladin goes to save his life. So Kaladin saves Amaram in this murder. Not this killing of the Shardbearer.
Yeah.
Not murder. This is very much on the battlefield killing. But
yeah.
Kaladin is so naive.
I mean, he's like 18. Maybe?
Yeah. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a right to be naive. He just is very naive, right?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
The idea that the Light Eyes would let him have the power here.
Well, they tell stories about it, right? Like, there are literally myths about Dark Eyes winning Shard Blades. And so I don't think that... I think it is a little bit naive, but I don't think it's out of the question because he's like, well, it's happened before, so... Yes, he's naive, but also I understand why he believes the way that he does.
I think that the naivety is that he thinks that Amaram will let him if he took the Shardblade here, he would have taken the Shardblade, right? And then he would have been Amaram's like right-hand man, right? The problem is that he doesn't take the Shardblade, and then he's like, well, I'm going to give it to Kobril, and Amaram's like, well, no, I'll take that.
Because Amaram believes that him having it is better for humanity or whatever. That's what he's trying to tell himself. Giram, thank you for that super chat. How do you guys feel about Chad Cal swinging his spear and balls? I mean, spheres around to get authority over the younger boys. Chad Cal?
He's calling Kaladin a Chad for buying boys from other men.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
think it's...
we already knew that happened, right? Like that wasn't new information. And honestly, I think that we already knew back then that it was about his brother.
Oh, 100%.
Even before we met Tian.
100%.
I think it's I think it's interesting. I don't know. I think
it's sad.
Yeah, it's sad. This whole book's just sad.
It really is so just heartbreaking. Because Kaladin couldn't save the one person that he was there to save. Right? And now he can never go back to what his life was before that. And he's just trying to save people. He's just trying to save people. I don't know. Yeah, I think it just, it's
depressing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's some interesting things, right? Like Kaladin, they don't know who this Shardbearer is, which I think is fascinating. Like when we first introduced the shards, when Brandon Sanderson did, I was like, oh, they're going to be rare. But they're actually not. Like, there's so many shard blades and so many shard plates that, like, it's not even known who has all of them.
It seems like there's, like, 100 of them.
At least.
Because the Parshendi have them as well.
And they keep popping up. Like, I thought it was going to be one of those things where there's, like, 10 shard blades. And, like, who has those 10 shard blades is going to be important. And now I'm like, it seems like they're just kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is very, very interesting. Because they're not even all in one country, right? Like, Shin had the one that Zeth has.
I'm going to say there's, like, 99.
99 red balloons floating across the summer sky. So the shard... This book has so many shard blades that I'm actually surprised.
Yeah, I definitely thought they'd be more rare, especially when we started with the Knights Radiant and there was like 10 of the Heralds. And
I don't think that those are shard blades.
No, I think that there's something else. Yeah. There's definitely more to it than, guys. There's a swordsmith that I follow on Twitter who is currently reading. Who's currently reading the Stormlight Archive and is like, oh man, I want to make a shard blade. Does anyone want to commission one? And I posted in the Discord and I was like, wow, my birthday's coming up.
Do you want a shard blade for your birthday?
I don't know.
Okay.
It'd be cool.
I'll try. Send me his info.
It's in the Discord. I added you.
Okay. They're concentrated in Alethkar, though. We don't know that, though, Rimac.
Well, it seems like Alethkar is definitely, like, stealing them from other people, but we don't know.
We have no fucking clue right now. There could be 1,000 of them on a boat somewhere, and I would be like, sure, at this point, I guess. Maybe the Parshendi are slowly pulling them off of a ship. Maybe there's actually, like, a bunch of fucking shard blades, because, like, you don't have to carry it around with you. Maybe it's like Warbreaker, where like there was an army and they all had shard blades, and so there's like a whole army's worth of shard blades. But
maybe, yeah.
Maybe there's a town where everyone has a shard blade, but it's considered rude to pull it out.
It's considered rude to pull out?
Yeah, you don't pull out your shard blade until your wedding day.
All right, good to know. Scuff Andy, thank you for that super duper chat. Let's go.
Nothing like a 300-pound, 10-foot anime sword for your birthday.
Yeah, I mean, hang it on the fucking wall.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, I've never had a 10-foot
I got you a sword for your birthday last year, though.
So...
Yeah, so Korib is going to get the shard blade, allegedly. We've already kind of talked about it, though. Chapter 51 is basically the... We'll get to it.
Oh, he also wants to make Nightblood. He was like, in the thing, he's like, I want to make Nightblood or a shard blade. So if any more of you want Nightblood, this guy makes like really cool swords. Anyways, it's in the Discord. Yeah. Shalyn wakes up.
So Shalyn wakes up in the hospital. She's on suicide watch.
Yeah.
Which isn't funny. I didn't expect a fantasy world to have suicide watch. Like, that feels like such a modern concept.
Yeah.
And I guess it probably wouldn't be. It's just, that was interesting to me. This chapter. So Clarice was reading downstairs, and I was in this room working. And all I hear from Clarice downstairs is like, "Oh my god, what the fuck? What? Oh my god!" And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Are you doing the reading?" I was like, "I'm behind you, clearly." So Clarice, what happened?
Well, in case you didn't read this book and you're just here for book club.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Shalyn wakes up and then is like, oh, the king comes in because the king visits patients because this is his, like, pride and joy is his hospital.
Yeah.
And she's like, please let me see people if you won't let me leave. And he's like, okay. So Yasna comes in and gives her the Book of Endless Pages.
Yes.
Which clearly means a lot to Yasna. So it was, like, really touching and beautiful.
Yeah, they finally have a nice moment.
Yeah, and then Kabsal enters with, like, bread and jam. And he's like, this is strawberry jam. And she's like, I've never heard of it. He's like, it's super duper rare. So they break the bread and, they each take a piece and they eat it, except for Yasna. She only, holds the bread because she, I guess, doesn't like bread. I couldn't stop myself from eating bread, so Yasna has a lot more self-control than I personally do.
Can we just talk about how this is the most convoluted murder plan ever? Which is to make poisoned bread.
Yeah.
And jam antidote.
Yeah. Because
Yasna doesn't like jam. On the hopes that you can get her to eat the bread without jam.
Hey, that seems pretty big brain to me.
It is. But most of the time they're eating the bread and jam, Yasna's not there. So they're just Kabsal is constantly poisoning himself.
Yeah, you have to make it a regular thing so it doesn't seem weird. If he only brought it when Yasna was there, it'd be super sus.
Lowbolt, thank you for that super chat. Can never have too many swords. I agree.
Lowbolt, thank you. Lowbolt knows what's up.
When I was actually thinking about this, I was like, but what if she does decide to try the jam because you brought, the different jam from another country? You know what I mean? Like, the one time he's like, oh, but this time it's strawberry. Strawberries are super rare.
Yeah.
And I was like, but why would you bring a rare jam? You got to bring in the most boring jam because Yasna might be like, oh, I'll try it because I've never had strawberry before, right?
Oh, the jam. Oh.
The jam is the antidote. So he brings in the super secret faraway jam from fucking Canada,
right?
And is like
Ontario strawberries, actually.
And Yasna sniffs strawberry jam, but then doesn't eat it.
Well, yeah, because it smells like vinegar.
Yeah, because it went
bad because there's probably medicine in it. It is very funny. Because the bread is dusted with poison.
Dynan is like, Jasna hates jam though. I get that she hates jam.
But if you were like,
if you're a scholar,
if you were like, this is a super duper rare food that I have acquired.
Mm-hmm.
I think some people would be like, okay, well, I don't like jam, but this is super rare. Maybe I would give it a shot.
I hate avocados, but if you were like, there is a rare avocado that only grows on the top of Mount Everest, and I have one, I would be like, oh, I'll try it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Baron's Brush, welcome back to the nerd table. I wish I could say for book club, just came in to say hi from WatCon.
What's up, WatCon? Oh, that's right. You guys are in
fun.
Ohio right now. Have fun.
Yeah, have the best time.
She rich, so yeah, she's probably had strawberries.
Oh, true.
That's fair. I just thought...
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it is hilarious to attempt to murder somebody by constantly poisoning yourself over and over and over and over and over again in the hopes that eventually she eats your bread. It's just, like, how much poison have...
You ingested? I don't know.
Has Shallon ingested? And also, like... Okay, but, like, how much jam do you need to put over a slice of bread to counteract the amount of poison in a slice of bread? What if you get... And I mean,
I'm
he
not
does.
a chemist.
He literally... I know, but neither is he apparently because he gets the fucking factors wrong and dies for it.
Yeah, it's his last chance.
The fact that he comes so close is crazy. This was wild. It was wild.
He,
to
like,
read.
hoped that she would, like, breathe it in or something. Johnny Coleman, thank you for that super chat. The book of endless pages was Brandon's original...
The bread has to be jam-packed.
Oh my god. Was Brandon's original choice for the second Stormlight title. His editor said no, that he'd be a laughingstock. Wow, okay. I mean, the book... I don't know. I don't hate it as a title.
I mean, I don't love it as a title for this series.
Sure.
Mostly because... I feel like you can get away with that if your book's like 400 pages. But if you put out a 1,200-page book, it just makes it seem like the title of your book is a joke. And I don't think that's... If you're going to write books this long and then you call it the Book of Endless Pages, I feel like your audience goes, is satire?
Too meta?
Yeah, yeah. Especially when your books are this long and nothing happens in them, as we're talking about like a murder attempt. I understand. If I was his editor, I would have also been like, don't do that. You're inviting the reviews of your book to use the title as a joke complaint against your book.
Yeah, sure.
In a way that I think the editor is right.
That's fair.
Yeah. I think that was a good call. This is why editors exist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so basically Kabsal dies here, and Shallon is also poisoned, and Yasna is like, oh, I need to soul cast.
Yeah.
And Shallon is like, oh shit, I stole your soul caster, so here's yours back so you can save my life.
Can we talk about the most insane concept ever?
Blood casting or
soul casting your blood to be not poisoned blood is...
Makes sense. It's one of the 10, thingies. I don't know.
I guess it makes sense. It seems so convoluted because the blood in your body is in everything. Like, it's not like the blood in your body... The blood in your body's everywhere, right? Like, when she was like, I'm going to soul cast your blood to be unpoisoned blood, I was like, that's insane.
I feel like it's just, like, filtering out the foreign, like... entity.
No, she has to transmogrify all of the blood to a different blood.
Yeah, she just... But
keep it in the same spot. It sounded like something where, like, if she was the blood witch, I'd be like, cool.
No,
but she's like
this
I
is
am not
super
particularly
dangerous.
good at this. Let me trans all of your blood real quick.
Yeah, it's just really fast dialysis.
Like, even just reading this, I got uncomfortable with the idea of it because I was like, what is she gonna fuck up?
I changed your blood type. I mean,
that would
I
be
could see that
so
happening.
Funny.
Yeah.
She starts to like reject her own blood because it's been changed.
Oh my god, that'd be awful. Yeah. So
is it? Coronian says, is it less ridiculous than turning a cup into blood? It's more the like specificity of having to do it in her body without fucking up, but without turning anything else into blood by accident. Right? It's the specificity of having to pinpoint all of the blood cells in the veins and arteries of the body without like accidentally changing anything else. Because, the human body's very sensitive to small changes. And like, it made me uncomfortable.
Sure, that's...
Especially because she was like, I'm not great at this.
She's actually a bloodbender.
Linus Victor, thank you for that super chat. If she was the blood witch, kind sir, what proof do you have that she's in fact is not? She says, this is not what I do.
She says I'm bad at this.
My evidence is only Yasna's word. Much like the fact that I think that Yasna killed those men, my evidence is what Yasna said. out loud in the scene.
Hey, it's pretty strong evidence.
I'm only using her own words against her.
Yeah. We get to chapter 49. So they're walking the chasms.
Oh, no, we skipped over the most important part.
What?
Shalyn opens her safe pouch.
No, I did say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure we didn't miss that because we missed the shard blade earlier.
Yep.
Shalyn reveals the soulcaster and yeah, we're good.
Yep. It's bad. Chapter 49, Kaladin and Bridge 4, they go to the chasms. They talk about escaping. And Teft is like, hey, Kaladin, you feeling okay? And he's like, yep, I'm good. And Teft is like, cool.
Hey, hey, Kaladin, have you done super stuff? Have you, I don't know, like jumped really high or come really hard? Anything weird?
Have you come really hard? Yeah.
Can you imagine, like, absorbing Stormlight to just have, like, a really powerful orgasm?
Someone's probably done it. Yeah, someone's probably done it. Because the Stormlight tries to get out, right? So it just, like, comes out through your cum.
Do you think that... Zeph could, like, use lashings to, like, magically jerk himself off?
No.
Like, he, like, grab a fleshlight.
It would just yank your dick off.
No, but, like, have a fleshlight, right?
Oh, okay.
And then, like, stand close to the wall.
And just
then
lash it
back and forth between the wall and your dick. So it's just like a
I mean, technically, yes. Feels
just
like a lot
magical
of
masturbation.
Concentration. Like, I feel like, you'd want to focus on the feeling good part of it and not the magic part.
But if he concentrates, maybe he lasts longer. Like, maybe on the other side of, like, a one-way mirror so that he can, like, be, like, a voyeur.
Seth, come.
Oh, he could peg himself.
Oh, he could.
By lashing it back and forth behind him.
He could do that, yeah.
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 Seth Come Villano is, like, I want that to be my drag name.
Nobody would
and
get
I'm... it. Zeth, come, Valana.
Yeah, no, nobody would get that.
That's why he wore white. Yes, I'll gauge. Absolutely.
Oh my god. So anyway, Kaladin starts training the bridge crew in fighting, and he teaches them how to stand, which is great. It's really important. What?
No.
I'm right.
You're right. I'm just laughing at yeah.
Rock is like, yeah, I can't fight. I am third son. And Cal's like, sure. All right, you guys are going to go get the salvage that we still need because we can't go back empty-handed.
Mm-hmm.
Syl is going to help out.
Yeah.
There you go. Very useful. And he's like, hey, Lopin, we need salvage. Salvagers? Is that a word? No.
Yeah.
It is? Oh, God. Okay. I didn't like it. Just didn't like it. And so he's like, I'll teach you to fight later. Just because you have one arm doesn't mean that you can't fight. We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
And Teft accidentally gives away that he was a soldier. Basically.
Not gives away. Kaladin straight up tricks him.
Yeah.
Kaladin's a sneaky snake and gets him.
Sneaky motherfucker.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, and they pick it up pretty quick because they're like, physically ready. They've been carrying bridges. They're very.
I love the idea. Kaladin's like, I've never had a group of soldiers more ready to be trained than this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also, the moment where Syl shows herself to people for the first time is really interesting.
Other than Rock, yeah.
And I like that the book was like, they all see Kaladin. I like that the book explains it like, they've all been like, what the fuck's going on with Kaladin? And Rock has just been telling people.
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
But can you imagine being one of the bridgemen and you're like, what the fuck's going on with Kaladin? And Rock, the Horn Eater, goes, oh, he's talking to a spren. He's talking to a very, like, special spren that we must all bow to and respect.
Yeah.
If I was one of those bridgemen, I'd be like...
What? Yeah.
It's fucking great. Like,
he might be, but hey, Ed...
But no, now they can all see her, so...
Better him than that. Well, at least for the moment.
Yeah.
Chapter 50. This is where we find out about the poison. Like, what happened. Shalyn wakes up. Yasna comes in. Is obviously very upset. She's like, you're a fucking idiot. No one's ever going to be your ward. Your family's in ruin. Kabsal never liked you. He was trying to poison me this whole time. He didn't give a fuck about you. Super disappointed. And she's like, I see why you tried to kill yourself because you were feeling guilty.
How are you feeling about the reveal?
It's rough. It's so bad. I mean, like, I feel so bad. Like, I was physically uncomfy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, Shalyn has lost everything.
Yeah. So, Kabsal has to be working for the same people that Zeth is, right?
That's our guess, yeah.
It's the only thing that makes sense to me. Who's trying to kill leaders? I mean, obviously, there could be people we don't know about.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that the only element of this that I kind of wish was that this reveal came with some context in terms of, like, what the behind the scenes are of things.
Yeah.
Because it does kind of feel like it's interesting information.
Yeah.
But it's not relevant to anything to me. I don't really care about who Kabsal is working for yet, because it's like hint stuff that is I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Right. I thought it was gonna. I thought the end of part 3 was gonna add way more context to this book than it did, and it sort of feels like the end of part 3 is like cool information and scenes that are interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I know a lot more about anything at this point than I did before.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting. I expected more revealed here.
Yeah.
And it's a literal reveal. Like, Kabsal's trying to kill Jasnah, and it's like, could be by fucking anybody. Like, I have so little context for who cares about her.
Yeah, no, it feels like the same people as Zeth, because they're trying to take out, like, big players, political people, leaders, like that kind of thing. So it's the only thing we have to go off of.
But I don't know what they're doing that for.
No,
I have no concept of what the value of killing the King of Yakavet is.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't matter to me at all.
Yeah, I have no idea what he's doing.
Yeah. And so I'm sure that this is what people mean when they're like, this is really interesting on a reread.
Absolutely.
Because I get it. I don't really know that I find it that interesting right now, honestly. Weirdly. And it seems like I should be. But I was just kind of like, oh, yeah, okay. Kabsal is trying to kill Jasnah, I guess.
Yeah, there's stuff happening in the larger world that, like, our characters are not a part of yet. Yes. But they have. But now Shalyn has kind of become a part of it in a weird way, and so.
But also not, right? Like.
Yeah, I feel like Jasnah needs to learn about the drawings and the weird symbol-headed people, and like that needs to happen.
I think I think that I would feel better about all of this if any one of those things had like something like an answer in this section. But we leave Shalyn here, and I maybe, like, me knowing that she's not in the next part is part of the why I'm feeling this. But we leave Shalyn here with a bunch of questions, and, like, the only answer we get is that Kabsal was playing her.
Yeah.
And I think that I would have liked one of these things to feel like it moved forward, and not, like, Kabsal dying actually stalls out the plot again. It just adds another barrier. And now Jasnah and her are not working together again. So there's another barrier towards moving forward. So it just kind of feels like part 3 ends with Shalyn's storyline coming up against a brick wall a little bit.
Yeah.
And a brick wall that is just sort of a, like, hard stop. We'll get back to it in 150 pages. And then we'll maybe start unraveling the mysteries that we just keep teasing at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
I am a little disappointed that Shalyn is not in the next section, but...
Shalyn doesn't say fucking anything to Jasnah here, even though she, like, has all this shit that she should be telling to Jasnah. But Shalyn just stays quiet as Jasnah yells at her and then leaves.
Well, no, she doesn't. She tells her why she did what she did, and it doesn't matter.
I mean, like, she doesn't use any of the information that she has to try and improve her situation here. We'll get to it later.
What do you mean? What would she try and do?
Well, I mean, keep Jasnah interested in her by revealing the drawing stuff.
Oh.
Move the plot forward by revealing the drawing stuff to Jasnah.
Maybe. Yeah, okay, maybe.
She could have. She thinks about doing it, and she does. She literally thinks about doing it, and then she doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things where it's like, am I losing my mind as well? Because, I don't know. That seems... Like, if I was seeing things... I don't know. Yeah, that's a weird one. But I would have loved for her to share that information.
They're researching mythological creatures.
Sure, yeah. We get to chapter 51, which is...
Sasnan.
We kind of already got into this, but Amram takes the shard blade absolutely murders the remainder of Kaladin's squad. He's like, sorry about it, bro, but, just politics or whatever. Kaladin's like, wow, all the Light Eyes suck. The one that I thought might have had a shred of honor is also a piece of shit. And Kaladin gets branded a slave.
Yeah, this sucked.
Yeah, it was fucked up.
The Amaram's performative nature of it was awful.
Yeah, Amaram could have had those men killed secretly outside of the room and Kaladin never know about it or have to watch it.
But by doing it in front of Kaladin, it was vindictive.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm merciful because I'm making you a slave and leaving you alive. But having his men violently slaughtered in front of him was just so vile.
Yeah.
And this was the chapter where the reaction where I was like, oh, this book depresses me. There isn't much here for me, because even the characters I do like, Dalinar and Adolin, are still the arbiters of a racist society that I want to fall. I want Dalinar and Adolin to be brought down actively.
Right.
Because they're...
Or to help bring it down.
They don't care about Dark Eyes at all. That is never been brought up that they think about their societies being racist in any way, shape, or form. So if that becomes the book, that's interesting.
I thought that Dalinar had started to question that because of the Way of Kings book that he had been reading.
I hope so.
But maybe
I really
I'm
do.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big fan of thank you, Arzu. Every reread I go into rage at this chapter. Yeah, I was just depressed after it.
Yeah, it sucked.
We're really watching
but this
just racism win most of the time in this world.
Yeah.
And it's a hard watch, right?
Yeah.
It's very depressing.
Because we had this as a marker to the end of our characters, and then we had Zeth absolutely massacring people while crying about it.
Yeah.
In the interlude. And so it was just so sad. Before we get to Zeth, though, there's Daxel who...
Well, I just want to finish my thought about this.
Sure.
I think what's interesting about this book is that, I don't care about the war at all.
Yeah.
Because I don't want the Alethi to win.
Yeah.
I would rather the Parshendi win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Parshendi are probably nice to the Parshmen. In a way that, Kaladin has to literally, demand that his men are not... trying to get Shen killed, the Parchman. He's like, no, he's one of us. We're not going to put him in front to die. The depths to which this society is failing, I'm like, just let Odium win, and let's build something new, because this isn't worth it. And I think that that's part of the reason why this book is a little bit tough for me, is because I actually don't see much value in this in the world that we're reading. I don't want these people to succeed. I want their society to collapse and be rebuilt better. Because right now, it's awful.
Yeah.
It's only war. Kaladin is looking around at everything being like, oh, this is all fucking dumb and pointless. Why are we doing any of this? Why are these border skirmishes killing people? Why are boys being taken from their families?
He flies around the world and is like, is there nowhere at peace?
Yeah, in the Son of Tanavast chapter. And so it's tough because it's the world building is so interesting in the way that Brandon Sanderson has thought it all out. But the world doesn't seem like it's worth very much. And so it's hard for me to get hyper invested in these characters because I'm like, well, I kind of would be fine with them losing. The Alethi society being destroyed doesn't actually seem like that bad a thing to me because the Alethi society isn't a great thing in its current existence. Yeah. It doesn't seem like it's ever been that great. It seems like a corrupt, fascist military state where most people are miserable and stuck in a caste society that is awful and turns people into slaves when they fuck up. And I'm not seeing the thing worth saving here.
Yeah, you don't have room for advancement. You are born as you are and you get kind of stuck there unless you outside of a few very specific circumstances. And yeah, it's depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel Klauser says there are a lot of things about Alethi society that are actually a lot better than in America, sadly. I don't think you'll find me out here defending American society.
Yeah, no.
Though. You know what I mean? Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. We have the worst income inequality in history, and it's crushing, capitalism's crushing everything. But yeah. This fantasy book, I don't know.
It's very relevant, I think. you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it just... I just don't know that I'm like... I just don't know that I give a shit about this book right now. I don't know what there is no plot. And on top of that, I don't know what I want the plot to be. I don't know that I want Dalinar to win. You know what I mean? Like, I don't actually know that that's something I'm interested in watching happen, because I don't really get...
Well, Dalinar at least, like, is treating people like they have value. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm very much enjoying this book because I am utterly fascinated by the complexity of it. Like, I feel like I pick it up and I am immersed immediately.
Yeah.
And so, like, I am really loving it, but it is like a little bit, like, on the nose, relevant to, you know, some current stuff. It's and it can be tough, and this section especially was like a bit of a downer.
Yeah.
Because we have 3 interludes, right? The first one is Baxel and Av and...
Fuck, I don't know what that is.
Some hot lady just ruining art, which,
Before we move on to the interludes, can I say one last thing about what you just said?
Yeah.
I think the difference between us is that we both agree that the immersion is incredible.
Yeah.
The immersion is dragging my emotional state down, and so I'm not loving that. And so I don't want to be dragged down, and it's not dragging you down, so it's not having that same effect. It's a subjective response to what I think is objectively very good writing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's move on to the interludes.
No, yeah, we're definitely on the same page about that. Some hot lady is ruining art, and I don't know what that means or what relevance that has. I don't get it.
Baxel wants to use the old magic, and there's something called the Night Watcher.
Yeah,
those are the things I remember, but I don't know what any of it means.
You can go get a wish granted that comes with a cost.
This sounds
awful.
Like we were transported into a Batman the Animated Series episode.
Yeah. And then the next interlude is Garanid. They're studying.
Yaranid.
They're studying cooking and spren, which is where we get the thing about the Dawn Singer. I think that's where this comes.
This is also where we learn that Shadesmar is the cognitive realm.
Yeah.
And that there's something called the spiritual realm.
Yeah. So that's fun. So we get some information about spren, and that if you quantify them, they like stay. They stay that way. Yeah,
it's sort of it's sort of the opposite of like a boiling pot, or a watch pot never boils. A watch spren never changes.
Well, you can watch it. It's just if you write it down.
No, I was just
Yeah, I don't know. This is such a weird. This is such a weird idea where if you measure
it, it stays the same size.
Yeah.
But if you don't measure
and record it,
it changes.
But no, you don't even have to. It's not even just measuring. You have to record it. So if you literally like in a semi-permanent way quantify the spren in some way, like luminosity or size or whatever it is, then they get like stuck.
Okay, so then I have a question for you. If Shallan draws Syl, will Syl stop being able to change shape?
Maybe, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we need to make sure Shallan never draws Syl, or else Syl will get stuck.
I guess. I don't know. I'm not a science person. This seems like a lot of science, and I don't understand what this means. But apparently it's a really cool breakthrough. So that's fun.
And then Interlude 9, Szeth Sun Valanon does not come Valanon. He murders the king Hanavanar of Yakaved. And he does so by killing 3 Shardbearers.
Well, yeah, the king himself.
Szeth is a fucking god tier combatant.
Yeah, I'm assuming, so I have kind of a mini theory, I guess, that like Szeth is being sent to kill other Shardbearers because whoever this group he is working for, like they work for the like Odium and like maybe with the Voidbringers, maybe because the Voidbringers can be killed by Shardblades, and so the more Shardblades that they get rid of, the better chance they have of success. So he's going in to kill Shardbearers, maybe?
I thought they were going for like political upheaval, but
maybe, but it makes sense that the people at the top of the food chain also are Shardbearers.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. But it's just a guess.
I was really grateful for this chapter because it was by far the thing I enjoyed most about the reading this week.
The fight?
that there's like something happening somewhere.
Yeah.
That somebody somewhere is doing something that is like advancing the plot.
Even if they don't want to be doing it.
Even if they don't want to be doing it. Yeah. It's sad, but like this kind of gave me Wheel of Time vibes in that I wanted to know what the like Forsaken were doing off page all the time because it felt more interesting than what our characters were doing a lot of the time.
Right.
And this time we're actually seeing it, and it is interesting to see like what is happening and to know that like how does this affect Shalyn having to go home? Right? Is her family in less danger from their debtors or more because the king isn't there to keep things in check? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like this has a lot of implications. Will Shalyn ever find out about it? Probably not till like book 3. You know what I mean? At the speed that this book is moving.
Yeah, I don't know.
Although like they have span reads, so like that's kind of a joke. Blind, thank you for the happy affiliate anniversary over on Twitch. Appreciate you. I thought this was great. I thought the fight was great. I thought using the surge binding to overcome the shard plate was really interesting. By like, because when we see him fight Gavilar in the opening, he can't do this as much because they're outside and there aren't things to be manipulating as much. He can't like surge the earth. And so here, because they're like standing on like a wood plank, he's able to surge bind that single plank and use that to like flip the shard bearer. And so the room becomes the environment. Also, obviously the most important thing about this chapter is the emotional stakes of him saying to Havananan, thank you for doing this during a feast so I can blame you for the killings. Thank you for making this a trap.
Yeah.
So that I can blame you.
Yeah.
Was so heartbreaking.
And he knows it's irrational. Like he literally says it, but it helps him live with himself. As
much as he is.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird things where I know he has like an oath stone, but is it magically binding or is Szeth just like way too steadfast to his word? I don't know.
Yeah.
It was like, ugh.
It was a great chapter. I really enjoyed it. It was my favorite part of the reading this week.
Good.
After a section of reading where I really felt like nothing moved forward, we just kind of moved backwards and learned some new stuff while moving backwards. It was nice to end on a chapter where it actually did feel like things moved forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's fair. Yeah.
I'm hoping that part 4 will change. The part 4 is called Storm's Illumination. So I'm really hoping that we're going to start seeing some forward momentum on this book.
The plot will be illuminated and information will come into the light.
Because I'm on a knife's edge at the moment with this one. Where I'm either... The book has to start doing things to make the misery worth it. Or else this is just misery for misery's sake. That's really well written.
Sure,
but it won't be. And it's totally subjective. Other people are gonna love it. I know that you're really enjoying it. I'm so glad that you are. Like I'm not trying to take away from that at all.
Yeah, no.
I need this book to start making all of the pain and misery a worthwhile experience and not just shit that happens.
Yeah.
Because right now it's starting to feel like shit that just happens, and it's shit. It's like manure. It smells bad. It makes me feel bad. And I am ready for this book to not... I'm ready to not put down the book after each reading and just feel heavy.
Yeah.
And that's just where I'm at with it right now. It's not poorly written. It really is well written. It's really interesting. Kaladin is an amazing character that I love. But the book does not make me feel good. The book is actively making me feel like shit. And I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that to stop being the case a little bit here.
Yeah.
Mistborn was... somehow darker, but I saw glimmers of the future in it.
Yeah.
And I don't see them here. We could read 4 more books about the bridge men being...
Well, because Mistborn, they were literally, like, we're taking down the Lord Ruler.
Yeah, and it moved a lot faster.
Yeah. For sure.
I'm ready to not feel depressed reading the book.
That's fair.
And I want to like it way more than I am.
That's fair.
Yeah. That's just where I'm at.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I'm having a good time. I will probably start reading today.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Because I got to know. Yeah. This is good book club. I know
I hope it was. I hope you guys liked it.
Yeah, sorry we had a week off. We try not to do that.
I'm glad the camera didn't stop during the book club.
That is nice. We are going to have to replace this fucking thing, though, because...
Yeah.
We just can't be having that happen all the time. We're too busy for that.
Well,
shit.
the problem is it's every time we unplug it to go somewhere. So
yeah, no, it's a problem.
I don't know. It might be the Elgato. Anyway, do you want to do high-low?
Yeah.
All right. This is where we celebrate each other's highs, commiserate over each other's lows, because that's how my family became closer when we were kids. Am says, are there 2 more weeks or are we finishing next week? No, there's 2 more weeks. I think we're doing part 4 next week and part 5 the week after, essentially. But check the schedule for the actual...
Yeah, the schedule is in the Discord.
I can pull... start with your... Clarissa always does her high. I do my low. She does her low. I do my high. Because we compliment sandwich this bitch. Let's do your high while I pull up the schedule and tell you guys.
My high for this week...
We're going till 61.
Till 61. Great. My high for this week is the, like, horror element of Shalyn being chased by things that she can't actually see. I thought it was really well written. I thought it was, like, horrifying. And I thought it was very interesting as well. And the Shadesmar, like, the description of the realm, that moment was definitely the highlight for me for this week's reading.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was really fucking cool. What is your low? It can just be pacing again.
Yeah, that's kind of my low with the whole book. It's just kind of like the pacing at which it's coming up. Honestly, like some of the Shalyn stuff I found a little bit boring. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of like philosophical talk with Kabsal that in hindsight I'm like, well, it was all just a ruse.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll say this. I think that like her plot over the whole thing has moved only so far as like one assassination attempt in like an 800-page book.
Yeah.
That it's just a little too slow for me to be as depressing as it is.
Yeah.
That's my low.
Yeah, I think my low is that Shalyn doesn't bring up what she's seeing to Yasna at the very, very end, because it leaves on a like, I don't know what's gonna happen next, as opposed to like a springboard for the next section, because she's not in the next section. And so I was hoping to like leave like some kind of like nugget of like, this is what to expect when we come back to this, but we didn't get that. So that was a little disappointing to me, but.
Yeah, and honestly, like if she doesn't come back till part 5, I'm a little concerned with Shalyn and Yasna's plot that we're gonna spend time going somewhere with Dalinar and Kaladin. And because Shalyn, when by the time Shalyn comes back, her plotline will be sort of, it's going to have to ramp up very fast to catch up with the fact that everybody else's plotlines are a little bit further along in motion.
Yeah.
And I'm worried about that, how introducing her back in part 5 is going to go.
Yeah.
Because she basically has to start over with Yasna here.
Yeah.
And so, like, are we going to be in the middle of, like, a giant battle with everybody else, and then we cut to Shalyn being like, please give me another chance? Like, it's just, I don't know that those things are going to line up in intensity well, so I'm curious how the end of the book brings them back.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. We'll see when we get to it. The Zeth killing the king chapter, I thought that was great. I really liked Interlude 9. It was definitely my favorite chapter this week, with Kaladin killing the Shardbearer kind of being in second place. Although even that, like, the Kaladin killing the Shardbearer, we knew so much of that most of that chapter I was like waiting for new information. It felt a little bit like on this week's episode of The Acolyte, where I was like, I need more new information. I don't want to just recap.
That's fair.
But I really liked the Zeth Sun chapter. I thought it was great. I love the idea of Zeth as like having this intense honor code, but being so distraught about what he's forced to do that he's literally like weeping as he's doing it. And yeah, I find him fascinating. Honestly, Zeth might be my favorite character in the book right now, with Dalinar in like a close second, because I really, really enjoy him. I think he's so interesting to me. Yeah.
Good book club. We crushed it.
Was it?
Sorry, it was a bit late. But we got through it.
Go watch the Brave New World Captain America trailer. I don't know how that's doing. It's probably doing okay.
Who knows? Who knows?
I'm very curious how people are going to respond to this movie, but we'll see when it comes out. Is there anything else? Is there anything other important housekeeping at the end here?
I don't think so.
Christian Rapper says, how do people like Zeth? Because I empathize with him because he is in a terrible situation that he does not want to be in but feels caught in.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like very tragic.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
I think he's fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's like any housekeeping stuff. We're back. So like that's
Yeah, we'll be back next week. We'll get through chapter 61.
Yeah.
What are the audiobook reactions we have to do this week?
Well, I think Arzu shared them. 54, 56, 57.
Oh, that's going to be tough.
54. Why?
Because we're in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to do it. We already have to record Acolyte anyways, so we'll get stuff done on Tuesday.
We'll figure it out.
Maybe
Y'all, thank you for a great book club. If you like this, like it, subscribe to all the stuff. The algorithm goddess of this episode is...
Yasna. She didn't have any bread.
Yeah, she's not dead. Yeah, I'm excited to keep reading. Mm-hmm. It's going to be tough because we only get to read 2 chapters and then we have to do the audiobook reaction. I don't know when we're going to do that.
I know.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do something nerdy tonight? Smut Corner. Okay. I was like, is there anything else we need to do before Smut Corner?
I don't think so. I think we
take 1 week off and I forget how to do the show.
Normally we have other like housekeeping stuff, but there's not really much coming up.
Yeah.
Really?
Dragonlance tomorrow. Astral Dusk.
Dragonlance.
Go subscribe to the Roleplay Relay YouTube channel.
Hell yeah. No, that'll be fun. We're gonna come back to streaming like here and there a little bit as well. Some video games. We are in Boston a couple days next week, so it's a little rocky, but we're figuring it out. Don't worry.
Neo Nargas, do you think the amount of audio reactions are hurting your view of the pacing? No, because I listened to the audiobook anyway, so It's not different to me to listen to the audiobook on camera or off.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't. I'm mostly audiobooking at this point, so I only really read things when I want to go back and reread a section I didn't understand, or when I want to like screenshot something like the Yasna conversation from chapter 42 today that I screenshotted.
Yeah.
So I don't really feel like it changes anything because I'm audiobooking everything anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you reread all the chapters again after the audiobooks, so...
Usually.
No.
If I feel like there's things that I missed.
No, I think this book just is very slowly paced. I don't think that that's a crazy thing to say.
No, a lot of chat agrees with you that you don't need to keep...
Yeah.
You're fine. Smut! I don't know. We kind of like added smut already.
Zeth masturbating with lashing a fleshlight to himself is very funny to me.
Zeth could literally like give himself a gangbang. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if that's what he was
Johnny
into.
Coleman, thank you for that super chat. Smut Corner time.
690. Let's go.
The latest Boys episode will drop at 4 p.m. Matt Colton.
Yeah, 90
It's on
minutes.
Patreon, but it'll be up in... Yeah, let's see if our editor did it.
It should be up in 90 minutes.
We'll see.
Yeah, poor Zeth. He needs some kind of not feeling terrible in his life.
Yeah, it'll be up in 90 minutes.
Great. Love that for us.
I don't know. I would love, like, the idea... This isn't really, like, him fucking someone in the book, because there's no one in his plotline that would be fun to fuck. But Zeth, like, being able to have, like, ceiling sex...
Would it be any different than floor sex?
Yeah, because you'd be in the air.
But it wouldn't feel like the air because your gravity would have changed.
Yeah, but like, can you imagine going to an orgy and there's like people having sex on the ground and then there's like magicians having sex above you and there's just like cum dripping on the people below?
No.
Just sweat and cum dripping on people?
No.
Wait, actually, big question. When he lashes himself to the ceiling, does his sweat get lashed? Does gravity change for his sweat or does his sweat drop?
I feel like it has to change for his sweat because it changes for his clothes and like his weapon, right? Unless his clothes are like... Could you imagine if you could change gravity for yourself, but your robes just flew up over your head and so it was utterly useless? Like you'd have to be
a fun
naked.
way to flash people.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that it would have to work for your fluids as well if it works for your clothes.
Okay, so then cum wouldn't drip.
No.
But when you turn off the... Oh, wait, so it would all drip up, and then you can, like, turn off the lashing, and suddenly there's just a deluge.
A shower. Just an absolute shower. So if you're into that...
rain!
If you're into that...
I also think, like... the homoerotic orgy in the post rain with all the boys, with all the bridge boys. Just
and
like
Adolin just shows up. What?
Where did Adolin come from?
Well, Adolin and Kaladin, obviously.
Oh no, their relationship is too early. We have to wait for that.
Okay, fine.
We have to wait. They
Fine.
that's got to be a like will they won't they like
They'll
slow
fuck
burn
eventually.
romance.
Sure,
Yeah,
fine.
I want like Adolin and Kaladin to like book 4 finally get together. Sort of a like Penn and
One
Colin,
of them might be dead by then.
situation.
Oh, sure. All right, get the fuck out of here. We'll see you on the Discord.
We'll see you next week. I'll be in a better mood. I promise. I
You're
don't
fine.
know. I feel like I don't know.
The book is sad. I understand.
I'm sad.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, guys.